Welcome back to the Telecom Tech Podcast.
Randy, he's gone!
Randy's finally gone. We do listen to the comments. We've got Sam here because he can't just have one podcast. He needs more.
Hey, I'm here for it. I don't know about you guys. I am personally heartbroken that Randy was not able to make it today, but I'm also glad that I got to make Nick's acquaintance for the first time. And we found out we are actually in the same place in the world right now as well.
I am sitting right behind the camera.
Yeah.
You have no idea.
You can't see him. He's actually right there, essentially.
6 feet apart, you know.
Yes,
just to be extra.
As one does.
We didn't set that up, though. It's hilarious because Nick is away from home right now, but is still able to record, and just happened to be in the same city as Sam, which he didn't know. We just discovered that like 2 minutes ago, so what a coincidence.
Howdy, neighbor.
I should meet you guys.
Yeah.
I should come out there real quick.
You should. That would be so fun.
Definitely.
It's going to be great.
How is new setup going?
It's going pretty
Putting
well.
up
I feel like I'm
new
finally
office.
adjusting or getting like pretty used to it. I don't know. Moving's really annoying. I don't know if
Yes.
that's a revelation.
I agree.
But yeah, I mean it's I've got like finally I think everything here. But as you guys can see on the video, we're we got a work in progress on the tiles behind me. Here, I'll turn my chair and you guys can see on video. Yeah,
Make sure they are perfectly symmetrical and even, because if they're not, they will never let you forget.
Actually, they shouldn't be
Ever.
perfectly symmetrical and even, because if you have any kind of wide angle distortion on the lens, then it's going to look not straight, and people are going to comment about that.
That's true.
That's true.
So you want to
too.
make sure they're perfectly unstraight to match up with the lens.
I'll put them on like a diagonal slant with my ultra wide Sony lens, and I think we'll call it a day. But I was telling you guys before the show, I got convinced by Elgato to buy those new, like, what is it, hexagonal panels?
Yeah, it's a hexagon.
And the reason I did is because, like, well, now I'm like, I basically just glued command strips to the back of each of these because the command strip wouldn't stick directly to the foam. So I just put like a little dab of stuff on each command strip, and then they came out with these. This looks so much better, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna get the Elgato ones. They look really cool.
Wave panels.
Ooh.
Like, I don't know.
They're called.
They did a good job designing them. I mean, Elgato, I'm seeing more and more like just legitimately understands what people want, and it's just like we're just gonna put it out. Like, we're gonna brand it with our name and make it a little bit more expensive, and then we're gonna sell it. And I can't complain.
Remind you of a fruit company of some kind.
I don't know. I don't talk about them unless they pay me. So.
Yeah, BlackBerry's not really relevant. Anyway,
I know. They're just dying.
different fruit brand. Have we talked about AirPods Max with you before since your last episode?
I think it was pre-December. I didn't have them. I don't think.
It's been a while, so you obviously still got them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's surprising. 2 out of 3 of us have returned.
Wait, what? You guys returned them?
Yeah.
No, we didn't keep them around. We just, Nick had his own reasons. I don't know what. I won't speak for Nick, but
They were.
You really liked them.
They were worth $350. Unfortunately, Apple wanted $550.
I agree. I agree completely. I think $350. I think they would have been a much more successful product had they gone plastic cups off the rip and done $350.
Yeah.
I think they actually would have been. They probably would have become the most popular over-ear headphones. Like with supply coming up, like I think they probably would have done it because that's just enough for like non-super techie people to be like, oh, but there are AirPods, like you know, and it's only $100 more than AirPods Pro.
Yeah. Right.
Or even $399, I think they could have stretched. But no, I agree. Like one of my friends came over the other day and he was like, "Can I, try them on?" I'm always like, "Yeah, of course." And then he was just like, "I need these. I want to buy them." And I'm like, "No,
That transparency,
I
though.
need them.
it's so good,
Dude.
I agree.
It's like
that's
three-dimensional.
that's what I'm using right now to hear myself talk. Like it's so good.
It sounds better than real life. I don't know how they do it.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but it does sound very good. I prefer
Better than reality.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I started off not liking them, and I liked the Sony XM4s better. And then
Really?
I listened. Literally, this is going to sound silly that this is the moment that changed things for me. But an artist by the name of SZA, I don't know if you guys are familiar with her, but she dropped this song called "Good Days." You may have heard it. It's been in the charts for like a month or two now. And this came out late November, and then when these came out, I was like, I want to listen to Good Days on them. And there's something about the way that track was mixed and mastered that with this sound profile, it just sounded so full that was the moment for me where I was like, I really like these. And like for a while they were too heavy, but I think I've adjusted, and they've been my full-time headphone. Like I hate that we have to buy the cable separately, you know.
Yes.
Like this,
I couldn't stand that.
this is the most flimsy cable. I'm just waiting for it to snap, and it's like, why was this $35?
Oh, really? I never actually looked at it. Is it pretty
I got
fragile
it. It
looking?
was pretty terrible. I mean,
Yeah, like if you're gonna sell a $30 cable, make it like
it's shielded at least.
Heavy duty.
Well, I know it wasn't
braided,
even
maybe?
shielded, which is the problem. Because if that cable goes next to like any, cable or actual like power wire, it'll like have a vibrating or whatever. You get audio distortion, and it's like,
Dude.
for $40, please shielded. Thank you.
Yeah, it was just it's always such a weird, and everybody says stuff about the case, but honestly, the case is the least of my worries. The case is the thing I think I've been least critical of. I've mainly been critical of the price, and then also like the quality of the cable. Like, how are you selling, decently high-end headphones, and then the cable is just like, I've heard nobody talk about that. I'm glad that Nick agrees, because it's just like, it just feels wrong. I feel like you have these huge beefy pair of headphones, and then there's little tiny cable.
It's like the cable
separate.
that used to come on AirPods, like back in 2012. Like it's that super thin, rubbery cable. It's like,
exactly.
Really?
So what made you guys return them?
That's something I wanted to question.
Yeah.
That was going to be my follow-up for you. Do you wear over-ears a lot before AirPods Max came out, or were you more of a traditional, normal AirPods type guy?
I actually don't wear headphones at all unless I have to. The only time I wear AirPods is if I'm in a crowded place and I need to edit. But even then, the audio latency is too bad, so I usually have to just plug in. But most importantly, it's like when I'm exercising, biking, running, lifting. Like, it's just magical to be able to like exercise with no wires. Like that is still like the game-changing part of AirPods for me, without a doubt. But these I've started to like more. Well, because I started a podcast, Genius Bar Podcast. Check us out.
What? No way.
Subtle plug.
Yeah, but like with this, or like even conversations like this, I've started to use them. I just prefer over ears when I'm having a long conversation than like the small buds. But I know a lot of people love AirPods Pro for like podcasts, and I think the majority of people I talk to on podcasts using AirPods Pro or AirPods 2 because they are.
Is it for like comfort reasons or the battery life that you prefer the over ears for the FaceTime?
I like the comfort for over ears a lot. Earbuds
Okay, Drew.
for
Let's
a
be
long
real.
period of time.
It's a flex. Come on.
Yeah. I don't know. I also, every time I see somebody with them on, I'm like, why are you wearing those? And then I wear them every time. And,
You're looking at a mirror and you're like, why are you wearing those?
I think you can also, anytime you see someone wearing AirPods Max, it's like they have a Apple Watch. You definitely know what market that is whenever you see someone still wearing AirPods Max.
They could work
it's
with
like,
an Android if you wanted them to.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's well, who's doing that?
I know, right?
Honestly, is there someone out there that's like, Android's better, but these $550 headphones is pretty solid. I think it's the right purchase. Yeah, I think that's where probably my lack of love from them came from, was because I could never find a comfortable pair of over-ears. Probably just because either the way my head is shaped or the way my hair is.
Or the size of said head.
The size of the head, just whenever I have something matted down on the top of my head, even AirPods Max after a while just felt more, I think it gave me more of the feeling of like wearing a helmet compared to AirPods, which I've used for so many years, and it honestly feels like they're not even there.
Yeah.
Like when I put in AirPods, I will use them for so long that I don't even remember I have them in. I'll just like start going about my day, and then suddenly I'm in the bathroom, I wash my hands, I look at the mirror, I'm like, oh, this was still there the entire time. And I think I kind of like that seamless, like I don't even notice they're there feeling. And AirPods Max compared to other over-ears I felt were still way more comfortable. I could still wear them for extended periods of time. I think for me it fundamentally came down to like the vote for your wallet mentality of like, I don't want to encourage Apple that they made the right decision with this product. That's why I went with the Mini instead of the Pro Max, is like, I want Apple to do more things like the Mini, and things like the Max are great, but at the end of the day I think it doesn't quite like the lack of promotion was, I was like, this should have promotion at $1,100. So I don't want to encourage them for saying 60 hertz is fine, but for them saying let's make a 5.4 inch like high-end flagship, I want to reward them for that. So over ears, and I already feel like I have too many headphones. Like I've still got AirPods 2, I've still got AirPods Pro, and sometimes I use one or the other. So I was like, do I want 3 pairs of AirPods? And then like occasionally use this pair and occasionally use this pair. I don't know. I would have considered, like you guys said, I think $399 would have been, in their current design with the case and no charge cable, $399 I could have maybe swung it and been like, all right, that's a lot for headphones, but it's Apple. That's kind of the integration tax you're paying for. But $550 to me was, $150 more than my limit. So I was like, I can't justify it, but they do look cool. I think they're the best looking over-ears.
Really?
In
my
opinion.
They're definitely stand out as far as the design. They're kind of weird, though. I don't know. Nick, why did you return it? Because I did. There was a period of time where I was planning to return as well, but then I sort of fell in love again.
Well, I really liked them. I'd never experienced audio that good before. I'm not an audiophile by nature, but I can notice things if I like really sit down and try. So
you're doing active listening.
Exactly. If I have to, I sit down, close my eyes, and really focus on all of the dynamics and just the frequencies and just all the little things that an artist can pack in there. I can't appreciate that. But I'd never really done that before until I tried the AirPods Max. And I was with Randy, and Randy can attest to this. I was just sitting there on his couch. Randy was upstairs, I don't know, doing something, probably showering. But I was just sitting there listening to a song that I've listened to literally tens of thousands of times. It's like in my study playlist of just like focus music. And I was like, I didn't hear that instrument before. I've never heard this instrument. And I'd never heard that song in such amazing detail. And my mind was kind of blown. And I think at the end of the day, the AirPods Max are like supple cocoons of sonic bliss that cover your ears.
I'm going to see that on an Apple marketing page. They're going to be like, reviewers react. So, wait, can you say that phrase again? Supple cocoons?
Anytime Nick uses the word supple.
Supple cocoons of sonic bliss.
That was the best way I've ever heard it. That needs to be the episode title, please.
That's a good one.
That's really good.
Supple cocoon.
Yeah, so they're very great headphones as far as like the audio stuff. I've never heard headphones better than that. And Randy and I picked up the Bose something or other. One of the other ones that everyone was comparing. Cheap, flimsy plastic ones that were only $250. And they definitely sounded worse. Like they didn't sound as full or as dynamic. And what I loved about the AirPods Max is they just like floated over your ears. It didn't feel like I had headphones on, which is very interesting because with any AirPods, I always feel it in there. Sometimes my brain will cancel it out, but it feels like it's weird. There. There's that pressure. But yeah, at the end of the day, I sat down and actively listened just with regular AirPods Pro, and I was like, if I crank the volume all the way up, I actually can hear that instrument too. And so I was like, all right, well, these are $250 and I already own them, versus the $550. And I think actually, I didn't return these. I sold them to a fan who was like, I can't get them because they're back ordered for however many months. And I'm like, yeah, all right.
Did you scalp Nick?
I was gonna say.
I didn't. I sent him a screenshot of my bank transaction of the actual money coming out. So that wasn't making any money.
That was nice of you.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Anyway,
you didn't scalp.
That's why I got rid of them, mostly because
the other thing that bothered me. Yeah, the other thing that bothered me about them, like I also brought up, like, I could maybe justify a super expensive pair of headphones like that if they were just perfect in every metric. Like, if I had no complaints and no issues with...
How are you? Drew's on Starlink, everyone.
But there were so many things, like, between the case
but that's okay,
and
because you
the
can
charging
right now,
connector
because video doesn't cut out.
Yeah.
And he's back. Maybe. Nope.
I hear you. Sorry.
I just hear him
Starlink.
like shaking his Starlink somewhere.
Yeah, I'm shaking the dish. Connect, darn you. Yeah.
Hey.
But I didn't like that they only charged via Lightning because I am trying to abandon Lightning across everything as much as possible.
Does that have anything to do with your shirt, Drew?
Yes. No, there's a reason I sell USB-C shirts and not Lightning shirts. It's because Lightning's yesterday's port. USB-C is the future. I want it on everything. I want Lightning dead. And yet AirPods Max was going to be another one of those products that like forces me to keep a Lightning cable ready. And with regular AirPods, I don't charge these with Lightning. These sit on MagSafe, and that's how they charge. And I'm already annoyed that I have to use a Lightning for my Magic Mouse and Magic Keyboard, but that's only once every 6 weeks. So it kind of stays plugged in, but behind the iMac Pro, and that's it. But every 6 weeks, it's like low battery, and I'm like, I got to use Lightning. But AirPods Max is like you got to have Lightning ready. And either I got to unplug MagSafe Duo, or I got to find another cable or use a computer with my... So I was like, if they supported MagSafe or Qi or something, and they could just instantly start charging once you put them on a stand, or Apple likes their stands. They put a lot of work into those things. So I was just hoping for a little something if they were flawless in every metric. But to me, they weren't. Taking them out of the case and having the metal rub against them every time I took it out was annoying me. The charge connector not lining up on the case too. I was just like, there's too many compromises for the price here. But since Sam, you are from the future, are we going to get a cheaper pair?
I'm from the future now.
Yeah,
you
are.
Well, obviously.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we are. I hope.
Host
so.
of Apple Track.
Yeah.
So you know what's going to happen.
What?
You know there's going to be, if there's going to be cheaper pair.
Yeah, I mean, listen. I know John Prosser has said that there was going to be. I don't know if Gurman... I feel like Gurman, like, slightly hinted at it, maybe, but I don't think he didn't, like, ever say it. I mean, I don't know. It makes sense to me, right? Like, I also just feel like plastic would be the perfect pair of headphones.
Yes.
Like, I would prefer... Like, listen, the metal's cool. It's like, it's a flex, and then you wear it, and you're like, damn, these are so heavy. Like, if they just did plastic... Or like, I don't know if this is a weird material for it, but like kind of like what the headband is made of, like that polyurethane. I feel like that like soft touch could be kind of like the Sony XM4. Like kind of a softer touch would be really, really nice. But
do you think that material change could lower the price substantially, or does most of that money go towards the drivers and the speakers themselves?
Man, I would love to know what the actual cost value of these are, right? Like, I want to know how much it costs Apple to build these. Just aluminum, drivers, Bluetooth, whatevers. Like, I don't know. I couldn't imagine it's more than $200 myself.
It looks like, from what iFixit found, that most of the engineering went into the little mechanism holding the cups onto the stem. Like, it's such a fine...
That was like everything.
It's funny. Did you guys ever take your cups off?
I didn't know that was a thing
until
after I got rid of them, and then I was like, oh, have you ever taken them off?
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I do it sometimes just to like show my friends, and I'm like, you know, see this? I can do it for my headphones. And
it's broken.
Yeah, I don't know. It is cool. Like I mean, it's just AirPods Max are just so weird because it's like Apple never does modular products, and then the one time they do it, it's $550, and one part, the ear cup, is interchangeable. Like with the way these are designed, the headband, cups, and ear pads are interchangeable, but they only sell one of them, and just the fabric is $80 for a pair. How?
That was pretty insane. I forgot about that.
Like, I don't want to know what one ear cup would cost. $300? Like,
probably.
Jesus, Apple. Like, I just doesn't make sense. It's like, why would you invest so much in the R&D of making them modular, and then the one thing you sell is not only $80, but it's the least significant portion of them. Yeah. Like,
do you think the pricing had something to do with they wanted it to be considered more premium than Beats, which they're already selling at $350, $399, and they were like, it has to be more than that?
I think that's the primary motivation. I think that's the only thing that makes sense, because they couldn't, they can't sell these next to What is the highest end Beat? Is it the Beats Studios?
I think they sell some that are $399.
I think you're right.
A $399 price point.
I
I'll
can't
check,
remember.
but
Yeah, I can't remember what they're called.
I think it's Studio. That sounds right.
We'll go with
the
that.
Beats Studio 3 are $349.
Wow.
But there is a higher end pair, I believe. Yeah, Beats Pro is $399. For some reason, they still sell those. I don't think they're wireless.
Maybe I should
That's
get Beats
just,
Pro.
So, back when AirPods were announced, though, the OG AirPods, they were going to be competing right alongside some of the wireless options that Beats already had. And if I remember, as the Power Beats 2 were out during... No, the Power Beats 3 launched alongside AirPods. That was it, because the Power Beats 3 had the W, or the H1 chip. Whatever that
It
was.
was W1 at first.
Was it W? Or
Beats
was it
X were also launched alongside AirPods. It was like, here's AirPods with the W1 chip, and then here's these other Beats headphones with the W1 chip.
Yeah, and so at that point, though, they weren't really competing. They were competing price-wise, but they weren't really competing in the same market space. Like, if you wanted fully wireless earbuds, you got the AirPods. If you wanted, waterproof over-ears or whatever, sweat-proof over-ears, you got the Beats Pro. Was this Beats Pro?
Studio.
Power Beats? No, the
Beats Pro are like
running
audio
ones.
engineering.
Yeah, anyway.
The running ones are Power Beats.
Power Beats. That's
It's very simple, Nick. How come you can't memorize all this stuff?
So confusing. I can barely keep track of all of Apple, all of Tesla, and all of Disney stuff. How am I supposed to keep track of Beats?
I think the question is, when AirPods Max SE come out,
gosh, no,
and they're
Max SE,
and Apple discontinues Beats, there's been speculation of for a while.
Do you think they'll axe them completely?
I don't know. I mean, personally, I don't see it, but I'm just kind of I'm playing into as the owner of Apple Trek, I'm playing into the rumors, right? So
I want you to. That's what.
Will you guys buy AirPods Max SE for $399?
I'll definitely review them, knowing how much traffic they drive. But whether or not I'll keep them I think it will probably depend on how good AirPods 3 end up being. Because my one complaint with AirPods Pro is just the rubber seals don't exactly fit perfectly with my ears. I mean, I can wear them for extended periods of time, but I do have to adjust and make sure, if I talk too much, it can slide out. Whereas the OG AirPods stay in my ear forever. I can't shake them out.
Thank you.
Sam and I have the same ears, I think.
No. I used to have that same problem, but I tried the old AirPods just a couple days ago, and they don't fit in my ear anymore. I legit think that AirPods Pro changed the shape of my ear.
Shaped. It adjusted.
I put it in, and I was like, ow! These used to not hurt.
Really?
What happened?
That is funny.
What do you guys...
No, I can wear original AirPods for forever. So if AirPods 3 have like better battery life and they fit in my ear comfortably, I might still come down to the fact of like $400 for over ears. And what is the charging method? If it's still lightning, there's still a bunch of problems. Like, how many pairs of headphones do I need? So it might be one of those things that I could see myself recommending them, but maybe not keeping them. Whereas AirPods Max, I didn't recommend to anybody. I was just like,
Yeah.
If you want them and you're not willing to ask for a recommendation, you know you want them.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like, there's no debate here. But if you're on the fence, you probably shouldn't get it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of AirPods, I don't know if you guys have talked about this yet, but AirPods 3, the leaks have come out. And
I have seen
we've seen
a
them.
few.
We've seen what they look like, which is not like a usual thing for AirPods. We saw AirPods Max ahead. We saw AirPods Pro ahead. And now we're seeing AirPods 3 ahead. And I, on this conversation of like things fitting in your ear, I'm deeply concerned that AirPods 3 are going to have the ear tips, because in some in some renders they're showing the ear tip, and in other renders
I did see that.
they're just straight up larger pods.
What's the differentiation? Is it noise cancellation?
It's going to be noise cancellation. For sure not happening. Like, everybody's like, Gurman has been like very clear they are not getting noise cancellation because that would compete. I'm thinking
that's the only main thing between pro and regulars, right?
Yeah.
So,
which I think is important for a lot of people.
It's nice to have, for sure.
It's a healthy price jump too, because AirPods Pro, I think, I would say they're fairly priced at $250.
Yep.
I'd say that's justified. And even when they came out, I don't remember as big an outcry compared to AirPods Max about the price. When AirPods Pro came out, most people were like,
$50 more for noise cancellation and transparency and a new design.
Paying an extra $50. They fit in your ear better for some, worse for others. Some people like the rubber tips, but you get the noise cancellation, which I use when mowing the lawn all the time, and it's like a godsend.
Whoa.
Or back when we went on planes, it was very handy, but that's not a thing anymore. Those were. So my hope with AirPods 3 is that they can have a nice healthy gap between AirPods Pro, just without noise cancellation, but still decent battery life. But yeah, I'm with you on the rubber tip thing. I hope that doesn't make it out, because I don't know. I feel like what's great about normal AirPods not having the rubber tip is it allows for that default transparency mode, essentially. Like with these, you can, if you pause them, you can hear everything around you, like perfectly. It doesn't cover anything up. Whereas, which is honestly how I would prefer it. If you're not going to have active noise cancellation, just let me pause the music and then I can suddenly hear everything. Whereas with rubber tip headphones that don't have active noise cancellation, it's like when I pause, now I hear like all my head movement, and I hear the touching of the headphones, and I don't hear my surroundings as well. So yeah, the rubber things would not be my cup of tea.
I think what we're gonna see is a hybrid design, and I think Apple is going to let you choose. I think they're gonna say you can either sit in your ear, or they might fit better. I know that this is a wild concept, but this is my only conclusion from what we've seen, because some renders clearly have them, and like they're showing them on them. Others are like just them sitting out. So you know, somebody was like, well, maybe it would like give away the source if they had the ear tips on there, but I'm like, no, I don't think it's that. I think because I was like, Apple knows this, right? They have done testing, and there are people like me and even like Drew where it's like they don't fit in as well as the twos. And Apple doesn't want to lose us to some Chinese clone that just looks like AirPods 2 or whatever. So I think they've probably done enough research to be like, okay, let's do a hybrid design. Let's do it, give an option for people that don't want to spend as much at $200, but that don't care about noise cancellation, that we can still get $200 from if we design it this way. That's because I'm also like, what is the feature set of AirPods 3, right? We've heard maybe a faster chip.
Which, like, who cares, really?
I mean, I was really concerned my AirPods are just so slow. Like,
I can't export anything.
Yeah, my render time on these are horrible. It's just bad. How am I supposed to be?
When I'm running with my AirPods, I'm like, I wish these things made me go faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's always, you can fall back on better battery or better sound quality. That's why the entry-level products are more interesting to me, because it's not just like daydream territory, right? It's just like, I want it to do this and this. It's like, no, it has to be better than the 2, but worse than the Pro.
Yeah.
Here's another theory I'll throw at you. Okay. You just gave me an idea. Perhaps they want to refresh AirPods Pro and AirPods 2 simultaneously. And they're going to have a pair. The pair without the rubber tip is AirPods 3, and the pair we're seeing with the rubber tip is actually an AirPods Pro refresh, just with a slightly, I believe the leak has like a thinner charge case. I mean, not thinner, but narrower.
Yeah.
Like it's not as wide as AirPods Pro.
I think so.
And maybe for design, maybe they use the same charge case. Maybe AirPods Pro and regular AirPods could have interchangeable, just for manufacturing efficiency, or for someone who just wants to upgrade the individual pods and not buy the whole case. They could just, I don't know, we're spitballing here, but that would explain it to me, because AirPods Pro have been out for over a year without being touched. So I could see maybe they're trying to simplify manufacturing and just be like, here's the cheap variant, here's the expensive variant, but they both have the Force stem, they both have the same charge case. It's just one has the little rubber tip attachment and the other one doesn't.
The real question is, though, will these new AirPods have AirTags built in?
Yeah. That would be great.
Okay, I need to hear your perspective on AirTags now that this has been rudely brought up. Because we don't talk about
rudely, that was the world's smoothest transition. How dare you?
I'm glad we had Sam on today.
That was literally such a great transition, Nick. I'm just a hater because I'm tired of AirTags. Do you guys care? Like, do you legitimately care about AirTags at this point? And if you do, that's fine. I'm just curious.
No. I mean, if there's a website refresh and they announce the price and everything, I'm going to make a video and I'm going to talk about them and I'm going to critique them. But if you're asking me like off the record, one-on-one, I have no use.
Edit this.
Clearly, no one's listening.
Okay.
Yeah. If no one was listening, I have no use for. I bought little geo-tracking devices way back in 2018. They weren't Tile. They were something else that basically just connected via Bluetooth and you could track down. And they had a little speaker in them. And it only happened because I lost my keys once, and it took like 12 hours to find them. But for those 12 hours, it was quite a mess because they had like my car keys, my apartment keys, the office keys. I was really worried the whole time. I was like, this is a big mess because also where are the keys? Who has them?
Yeah.
But then found them in my, at the time, girlfriend, now wife's purse, and they got mixed up with her stuff, and we were just like, oh, okay, there it is. Outside of that one time in 2018, I have never been in that situation. I've never been in like I can't find my wallet, I can't find my bike, or where's my... Never has come up.
Apple's going to start cursing people to lose things when AirTags come out. It'll be like planned obsolescence, but it'll be like, where's my car? It was just here.
The Apple car just drives away.
Yeah.
And if you don't subscribe to the monthly Apple Tags Plus plan for your Apple car, then your Apple car will just randomly leave and park somewhere in the city, and you have to go around and find it.
Yeah.
You need AirTags. No, so the short answer is no. I think that of all product categories for Apple to enter, this would not have been high on my list of like new tech that they haven't really made a presence in yet. High on my list would be like a camera or smart home appliances, or imagine, oh my god, I had such a nightmare with smart bulbs this past week. Don't get me started. But imagine if setting up a smart bulb or a smart whatever, it does, a light switch or an outlet, was as simple as AirPods, like with the W1 chip. You literally just like turn it on, and then the little pop-up shows up and you hit connect. Because right now it's this whole balancing act of like using the third-party application, and then Philips wants you to use this external hub that you plug into the router, and then you import the Philips app into the HomeKit app, and then you got to enter this one HomeKit code, or you scan this QR code. It's way too complicated. And I got really excited way back when they announced that they were like working with Google and Amazon on some kind of standard for all smart home stuff, but it's never turned into anything since that announcement. I haven't seen that. They were trying to make like one universal standard so that whether it was a Google or Alexa or a Siri, it would all work together, but they haven't announced anything yet. So I would much rather Apple just get into that market instead of like, hey, Tiles trackers you can put them on your keys and stuff. Honestly, if you would have told me Apple was making that like 5 years ago, I would have been like, nah, doesn't sound like them. If some random comment came along and just said, Apple's going to make a Tile tracker competitor, I'd be like, really?
Why? Apple's going to be done making the Tile tracker competitor in like mid 2019. Put it in some support videos, and then not release it until 2021 at some point, maybe.
Yeah. The ultra wideband stuff is more interesting. Like just incorporating AirTags tech into AirPods, like you said, I think could be a big game changer if people could, if the AirPods themselves were able to encryptedly ping other Apple devices, and you could be like, oh, I left my AirPods at that bar or that restaurant, there they are. That I'd be like, okay, that's pretty cool. But making an own separate product for other items that don't have Apple connectivity on them is like, I thought Apple would be the company to be like, you don't need keys. Everything's Bluetooth in the future. It's like, no more keys anymore.
Your wallet is attached to your phone.
Yeah, your phone has taken away everything you could possibly lose, and maybe build the ultra wideband into cars.
Why though?
That's kind of a stretch.
I'd have to agree with you, Drew. Like I'm very careful. I've never once like legitimately lost my keys like you. I've never legitimately lost my wallet. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I just keep track of my stuff. I don't know why other people have such big problems with it, but I don't know. Just don't lose it.
Maybe it's the pandemic.
Why are you losing
just
things?
All home.
Yeah, and then like I never leave home anyway, so it's like, why bother with any of this? And my iPad has LTE, so I always know where that is. My phone has LTE, so I always know where that is. And like,
no, your phone has 5G, I'd hope.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, 5G.
5G,
sorry, everybody.
I'm so sorry.
I can't wait for that 6G because we know that's going to be better.
I'm guessing Sam is done with AirTags too, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay. There's two. Well, one situation that has me legitimately excited for them.
Okay.
And as you were talking about it, I was like, how can I play devil's advocate logically by like
That's
slightly
good.
disagreeing, right? Because I feel done. Like you and I, dude, the amount of times I have said AirTags, I don't know, I haven't kept your count, but it's like, I think probably in the
Was
thousands.
it 2019 when we first started talking about it?
I think it was 2018.
Oh my God, really?
I think it was summer
I'm gonna look.
of 2018 maybe.
I'm going to check channel content because I think I specifically remember saying before the iPhone 11 event we could see AirTags.
Yeah.
You know what? It probably was.
That's what I remember.
I think you're right. I think it was summer of 2019, Drew.
Summer
I
of
think
2019, we had that leaked Apple support video of like some beta or something. And
yeah, that just shows you how
Yep.
long they've been working on it.
Like first time I put it in the title was October of 2019. It said AirTags and battery cases hinted in iOS code.
Ha!
And that was before iOS 14.
Wow. So I see them being useful for tracking like an animal, right? Because lost dogs.
That's true.
Are, like, that's
I don't have pets.
A
That's why.
worst fear. Okay.
Yes.
But
That's a good point.
have seen. I think I was reached out to by a company that is making an AirTags accessory for a dog collar, where you'll be able to slide the AirTag in. I don't have the name, or I would just like plug it to help them. But and that was when I saw that I was like, oh, okay. I think I'm starting to get it right, because what Apple is clearly going to do is they're going to say, hey, every iPhone that exists in the world on iOS 14.5 is now passively looking for your lost AirTag. I mean, they're going to do what Tile did with the anonymous
Your
searching.
dog.
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, yeah, it would be kind of incredible because of the, like, there's way more iPhone users in the US, at least, than, Tile users.
Yeah.
And it's like your dog gets
Definitely.
away. It's like they were just spotted on this street corner. Now they're, like, you can literally sort of find where your pet is going. Or, I mean, I'm thinking like a human as well, like maybe somebody with like dementia or Alzheimer's that like leaves. So those are like two applications where I'm excited Apple's entering the space. But like for myself personally, I agree with you, Nick. I don't lose things very often. I mean, I also am just like, couldn't somebody just take the tag off and just throw it? When they find that, when they find my boosted board, they're just gonna be like, oh, there's an AirTag on here. Whoosh. Like
good luck tracking this trash can.
Yeah,
Or if there's a way to factory reset it from the tag itself.
Yeah, and I'm sure Apple solved all these, but I am convinced that they are coming this month because I don't know if you guys saw in 14.5, they enabled the items tag in Find My.
I did see that. Yeah.
So they've never done that. It's been there privately. The fact that they have turned it on and they've done a couple UI tweaks in there, I'm convinced that it's happening. I'm convinced that we are getting AirTags in this month, but I don't know if it's going to be in an event form or if they're just going to do a press release. I have a hard time seeing AirTags through a press release.
I do too, because it feels like something that you would want to explain the use cases of. It sounds like if they just did it as a site refresh, people would just be like, "What's the point of this? Why are they announcing this?" But exactly for what you just did, I was like, these sound kind of pointless to me. But then you mentioned like a lot of people have dogs, and a lot of people love their animals and their pets, or love their
children,
grandparents or whatnot. People keep track of your kid. It's not a horrible idea.
Yeah.
But you're right. That use case, it's not my use case, which is why I don't think about it very much. But I do know a ton of people with pets that want to keep track of them and know where they are. And I'm now just thinking about all the times I see lost dog signs on telephone poles. Yeah. And if you could attach a little $350 accessory to your dog collar, because I'm sure that's what it'll cost. But yeah, I think there's a use case for it. I don't think it's like a pointless product. It's just, it's out of all things Apple to get into, that's one that I was kind of surprised by. But I guess I somewhat get it because Tile and other geo-tracking devices have all kind of had that same concept of like ping other devices so that you know where your device is. And you really can't have that work very effectively when you're kind of a niche brand or kind of a brand not everybody is using. Tile's probably the biggest one, but it's very safe to say there's more iPhones than Tile trackers. So to use every Apple device for that, that's when that network could actually work really well because of how many devices it can ping off of, and you can exactly track down where your AirTag is. So it will probably do pretty well. I mean, knowing Apple and how easy they'll probably make to set it up, I just hope that the charging situation is very simple. I don't want it to have lightning. I don't.
Oh my God!
I want to be able to just. I want to be able to just. I mean, I remember reading some reports in 2019 saying that it would have removable batteries.
Yeah.
And I was like, really?
That doesn't
sound like Apple.
You gotta go get like a
What
hearing
sounds
aid
like
battery
Apple is
from the drugstore. No, thank you.
Making it use the Apple Watch charge puck.
Yeah, that sounds so realistic.
It'd be the right size.
Yep.
You didn't have a little curvature to dock with it, and it'd be the first time that Apple Watch charge puck could finally charge something else other than a watch.
Yeah.
So that's what I want it to be. And if it's just like charge it every 3 to 6 months, you just take it off and that's it. It'll be cool to check out. I'm curious of their approach to it, but something I plan on using. Not really.
I really think they're gonna have a fun time doing a whole bit introducing it with Craig and maybe like Jaws up on stage, trying to find something around Apple Park. They could do a really funny little intro.
That's a good idea.
You know what? It would be so creative for them to do is if they walked out for the keynote and Tim's like, "Oh, where did I put my phone?" and act like it was a mistake.
Where's the clicker?
Yeah, I was just thinking that would be such a good bit. And then they're like, "Oh, drone shot." Do you guys think there's gonna be a March event?
I think so.
Ooh.
I don't think it's been announced, but
by the time this episode goes up, with our luck, yes, it has already been announced.
It's probably been announced. This is how we age the episode really well.
Yeah.
I think it was in response to one of your articles on Apple Track. You said something along the line of
Starlinked.
Starlink.
Gurman says March event will not be on the 16th.
I definitely think the March event
replied to that saying
probably the most exciting thing that will happen this month in Apple news. So I'm all for it. We're not running out of things to talk about at all. Go ahead, Drew. You're back.
I'm back. He basically said the event won't be on the 16th. Or something to that. And I was like, okay. So
in an exclusive tweet to Apple Track, he goes, "I was referring to no event on the 16th when I said no March 16th event." He was like, "Oh, I'm just saying no event on the 16th," which is like, I feel like he knows something, you know?
Very specific, yeah. If I feel like if there wasn't going to be an event, he wouldn't have clarified that. I think he would have just ignored that headline if it was just there won't be a March event. So similar to the last 3 events, though, I think they're going to announce it just like 7 days before it begins. So, I mean, for all we know, they could be announcing it by the time the podcast goes live. That'd be funny. But, I could see it being later, like a March 22nd or a March 23rd type thing. But, I think with how event-happy Apple has been last quarter with all 3 events in a row, March events don't happen every year, but this is the type of year for them to do one, especially if mini LEDs coming to the iPad, and that sounds like something you'd want to kind of brag about on stage for a little while. Yeah,
like
that's
this month. Okay.
Yeah, that's what the rumors have been saying. They could be wrong, but
I've just stopped caring because they keep talking about these mini LED iPads, and I'm like,
it's happening. But what I don't understand. Okay, so really quick, my vision is yes, we're getting a March event. I think it's going to be iPad Pro with mini LED and 5G, iPad mini refresh, not the bezel-less, dream.
But not the good one.
It's going to be the 8.5 to 9-inch version that's been rumored from Co.
Right.
I think so. It's going to be the biggest iPad mini upgrade in years, but not the dream, right? It's just going to be like a little bit bigger, and then I think we're going to see AirTags.
A letdown.
Because this would basically exactly parallel the September event, right? You had like accessory, which is the watch, paired with 2 iPads. Or even in the iPhone, they did iPhone 12s and HomePod Mini, right? I think I was talking to John Prosser about this, and he sort of highlighted that like way of thinking about it for me. And it's like, oh, that does make sense. And
it's like your appetizer.
Yeah, that would be enough for an event. I think AirTags and just iPad Pro, it's like, dude, what is it, 30-minute event? But if they do 20 minutes on AirTag because it's a brand new product, 15 on the Mini, and maybe 20 on the iPad, I mean, you're hitting about 50 minutes with the transit. That's about
40 on 5G.
Yeah.
That's you got to remember. If 5G's being brought up, this is going to be a 90-minute event.
I'm gonna get the guy from not just Verizon, but they'll also get the new T-Mobile CEO and the AT&T guy and the guy from EE.
I hope they picked up on the over 5G memeing, because I noticed Tim Cook stopped saying good morning on the most recent Apple events.
Really?
Yeah, at the October and November events, he didn't say good morning. He just said, like, hello and welcome. And I'm like, I wonder if that's because he picks up on everyone memeing him. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And he's like, I don't like this meme, so I'm going to try to kill it. So I'm hoping that they saw all the 5G memes and people making songs of 5G and stuff, and they're like, okay, we overdid it. Let's tone it down a bit.
I just want to know,
I'm hoping.
Does Tim Cook ever look up Apple rumor videos just to like hate watch and be like, Delosive Tech is so wrong on the AirTags, they're actually never coming out. Like, or like he clicks on an
I love you, Sam,
video
but that's
like,
a terrible Tim Cook impression.
I know.
For the record.
I know. That's like the maniacal. I honest to God, I love Tim Cook. I think he is a great leader and a great human. I just know if I was a CEO, like for fun, I would just like look up Apple rumor videos and be like, "You're so wrong," like, and just laugh.
I would respond to tweets and stuff. I would like if you did an iPhone rumors video, I would reply like LOL.
Like we need an Elon type personality as an next CEO.
Yes.
Could you imagine how fun that would be?
Oh man, if Tim was just dropping leaks left and right, or just saying like, no, that won't happen. You know, like Apple Pencil rumored for iPhone, and Tim's like, no,
never.
You know,
like. Because like Elon does it to the point where it's like he does backtrack quite a lot actually. Like, this never happening. Air suspension's never coming. It's like it's leaked for the fourth time for the Y or something. Like it's like, dude, you could just like clearly
the S and X will never get refreshed.
Yes.
Yeah.
We don't do refreshes. Biggest refresh of all time.
Well, I guess if we're going with the Apple track record, Elon has like a 0, and Tim has 100% because he's never had anything wrong except for AirPower. I guess that was Phil though. So.
That was Phil, though. So Tim's solid. He's still at 100.
It's one of my dreams and aspirations to interview someone from the exec team, like probably like years after they've retired. And I just want to be like, what is the conversation like about leaks? How much does it play into development or the media cycle? And do you guys ever like talk about these things? Or are you so focused on the actual company that you literally don't care whatsoever what people are saying because you know what the product's going to be?
That would be fascinating. That'd be a really good interview.
It would be so because Apple's always just like, we hate leaks, and like, you know, we've talked about this. I think we talked about this maybe in our last episode, but it's just like,
oh, okay.
I can't remember, but we were all just saying like leaks are so important, and I think we all agree. It's like, what would this podcast be? Oh, we're just guessing for 51 weeks of the year. It's like, no, nobody wants to hear they want to hear some truth and then the excitement behind it.
Yeah,
it does good and bad for the brand, because on one hand, I think why Apple hates it is because it prevents current day sales. If we talk about AirPods 3 or we talk about AirPods Max SE, that's going to prevent people from buying what Apple's already put out. But at the same time, it's kind of like free publicity for them, because we get people excited and we speculate use cases before the product's been announced, and that gets people excited, and we as content creators definitely push more eyes on what these brands are doing. So I feel like they could be more open to it, or more accepting of the leak community if they would just acknowledge that, like, we might hurt present day sales, but at the same time, we're also building you up and getting people really hyped for your products. And, you know, there's only so much Apple can do of that themselves throughout the year, whereas leading up to the iPhone 10 launch, there was so much people getting excited, getting pumped, and then all watching the keynote. Like, how many people would watch these events if there was no leaks or no rumors of anything, and if it was just maybe more? I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think more. No, there's so much free advertising that goes on. I mean, heck, we're 100 and something episodes deep into this free advertisement for Apple.
Yeah, literally, like we work every day for this company with no recognition or like comments or anything, and sometimes it hurts.
Sometimes it hurts.
All I want to do, if you want to interview an exec, I get that. All I want to do is visit Steve Jobs Theater and get the behind the scenes tour once in my life. That's all I want to do.
That's also a dream.
That does sound awesome.
I'm right with you.
True.
Have you guys ever gone to Apple Park and visited?
Yeah.
We actually met
Yeah,
We just saw Apple
Drew
Park.
was just there, and I was there. I'm like, "Hey, random stranger, do you want to do a podcast?"
Wait, when?
This was summer of 2018.
Yeah.
I think Nick had flown in, and Randy
Flew up.
was visiting the Bay Area, and so me and all of us got together, and we decided to meet at Apple Park. You couldn't go inside it, but we got to see the outside, and they have the little visitor center with exclusive merch and stuff. And that's actually when I got my I don't have it here, but I got my Apple water bottle, I got my Apple Watch shirt, I got my HomePod shirt, I got all the Apple exclusive stuff there. And I've never been back there since then, but yeah, it's a cool place. I wish you could go inside. That would be fun if they let you in that little park area, but they don't. That's employee only.
Yeah.
Have you been, Sam?
Oh well.
No, I've never been.
Ooh.
I've always wanted to. I've never been in Cupertino in my life.
Ooh.
It's a
Which
pretty
is-
area.
Oh my God, I
Pretty
know.
overpriced, but yeah.
Yeah,
It's extremely expensive, but you understand why, because like the temperature is always great. Everything's very green there. It's a very like classic California feel.
Yeah.
You know, just of like perfect weather and everything.
That's because I feel like the average Apple employee salary is like $300,000 to $500,000 if you're working at Apple Park.
Probably.
Like,
Tim
is
Cook's
it-
receptionist is making millions, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, like
And that-
I'd hope so. Like, anytime a company is that successful or profitable, and they're like, "Oh, our employees make $12 an hour," it's like, what are you doing? Like Amazon, just they're still. I mean, even at 15 for Amazon, I'm on the side that that's too low for Amazon. Like,
They are huge.
It's just. I don't know. It's a little infuriating to see these companies that just stockpile cash instead of. But I believe Apple employees, like even retail, I think makes pretty
Above minimum.
Yeah.
good.
And retailers,
I think
20
it's
I
to
looked
25.
into it a little while.
Yeah. I wanted to work there for a while.
I don't know what it is.
Same,
Yeah,
same.
I don't know what it is now, but I wanted to before YouTube took off. I had a friend that worked at an Apple store, and he said only 2%. This was a few years ago, so it might be different now. But
Sure.
he said only 2% of the applicants get hired.
Yeah.
But those who do get hired, it's better than minimum. I think it's probably
When I was
like
looking, it
20 or
was
something
between
now.
18 and 20, but that was
Yeah.
back when like $9
I bet it's
was
closer
pretty
to
standard.
25.
Yeah.
But they also said they have these programs in place that let you, if you want to travel, or there was a friend, because I've spent a lot of time in Apple stores over the years. When I was waiting for my product to be ready, I would just make small chat with the Apple employees, and they would say stuff like they have these programs where you could travel overseas and work at a different Apple store, and they'll even pay for certain types of your education, or if you want to pursue something else. They had all these like internal programs that they were talking about. It basically sounded like a really nice place to live. You notice a lot of Apple employees talking about how nice it is
Yeah.
when you talk to Apple employees at Apple stores. I miss doing that. I haven't done that in forever, but it seems like they prioritize their workers, at least with Apple, pretty well. I mean, Foxconn's a
Not
different story.
Foxconn, I was going to say.
Yeah, I think the end result with Amazon and Foxconn is probably just going to be more automation, to the point that they're not thinking, how do we give these people raises? They're thinking, how do we get rid of these people entirely and just do everything robotic? And it's just a big alien juggernaut machine that's producing shipping boxes, and there's no people, and that's probably what they're shooting for eventually. But yeah,
Unfortunately, but
does sound like a fun place to work.
yeah, I applied there. I think, I was going to apply there back in high school, early college, I think.
Oh wow.
End of high school, early college, and then they were basically like, hey, we don't really do a student thing. Like, you need to be either full time or part time. And I was like, well, I'm 3 hours away for most of the year at school. And they were like, yeah, because my dad actually knows in St. Louis, he knows one of the managers at
cool.
I think West County Apple. So I had like
So
a
he
slightly,
knows what the iPhone 13 is going to be
Exactly,
like, right?
yes.
God, it's always my favorite. Like, I'm not gonna lie. There was a point in my young career as an Apple fan where I would ask the employees what was gonna be on the next phone.
I think we all did.
I'm cringing.
I think everybody
for
had-
the audio listeners, I am cringing as I say this. I do remember there was one guy that actually did follow the rumors, and he was like, "Yeah, it's gonna." I think he was like, iPhone 5 is gonna be a little bit bigger, but that's just what I'm hearing. And I was just like, Oh.
And he didn't work there the next day. They fired him.
Yeah, I know
Tim
that
was
there's
like,
also
"Hey,
policy they
no.
can't.
Everyone wants to bring the dummy models into the store and see what happens. Everyone's got to do that at least once. But eventually, you turn 9 years old and realize that the employees figure this all out at the same time we do. But we're just convinced that they have these little meetings back there. Okay, guys.
Yes.
So in 6 months, Apple's going to do this, and we want you to know
But
that.
don't tell anyone, except for the kid who comes and asks you nicely.
Like, could you imagine if retail employees had access to, like, confidential info? The amount, like, everything would leak instantly.
That would basically be public.
Yeah.
It would.
That would essentially be
Those
releasing.
those open letters that Tim do.
Yeah. Instantly.
It's like Elon Musk does those memos to employees that basically as soon as he writes them, they show up on Twitter. Like that would be what would happen if Apple was told.
It's like as he's typing
all
them, it's showing up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I do miss Apple stores. I do want to visit Cupertino. We'll have to do a trip and a collab there.
That would be fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, we should all meet
Dude,
up sometime.
I want to do like an Apple YouTuber like meetup.
Yes.
That'd be so fun.
That does sound fun.
Get Philip from EAP there. Get John. Get you.
Probably draw quite the
Nikki.
crowd.
Yeah, like
that would.
we should just do like an event. We should just do like a little. Remember?
I would
This is
love
a
that.
deep cut. You guys remember when Marquez, Jonathan Morrison, Unbox Therapy, and Austin Evans did that meetup like 7 years ago in LA, and they sold
Vaguely.
tickets for it? That was so cool. I remember seeing that. I was like, damn, that would be really, really cool to go to.
We should make
But-
like an AppleCon and just.
That would be.
You heard it here first. This is now my life
sick.
goal. Make an
AppleCon.
AppleCon.
Let's do it. That'd be really, really
A big
cool.
event.
We'll rent out the what do they do? They used to do WWDC in the Moscone Center. We'll rent it out the week before.
There you go.
Yeah.
We have to do it right outside Apple too. We'll invite
Meeting
Tim.
in the parking lot in front of Apple.
Oh my gosh, that would be so good.
That would draw quite the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would.
Do you have a running theory on the naming for this year's iPhone line, or are you just sticking with 13?
Oh no, 12S, 100%.
12S. Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Really?
I am a poor clickbait boy that believes that if I start saying iPhone 12S, the videos will underperform. So I'm scared to switch.
I think you're right. I'm in the same department as you. As like iPhone 13 is easier to put in the title because people understand. Oh, the next one. But if you put 12S, people all think you're just saying 12s. Not. They all think you're talking about the iPhone 12 again.
Maybe
so
I
if you
should
just
switch.
you put that next number.
For
It'd be an
You know what?
interesting
Hold on.
experiment, but
I have the solution.
Okay.
Drew and Sam's channels are literally the same channel, just different faces. So Drew, you upload the exact same video. We'll script it and everything. Drew, you upload one video with the iPhone 12s, and Sam, you do 13, and we'll compare the results.
that would be pretty funny.
That would be really
Same
good.
thumbnail.
See what
too.
people's reaction.
Yeah. No, I think it's 12S. It'll be 12S. 12S. Wait, how do they do the naming? Oh, sorry.
12S Mini,
12S
12S Pro,
Mini.
12S Pro Max.
You think we're
12S.
gonna 12s mini?
12S. Yeah. The
Most of the rumors have
yeah
pointed to that still being a thing.
co-reiterated that the other day that we were gonna see it. So I don't.
That's good.
Yeah.
I want another one.
Yeah. I'm happy for Drew. Personally, it's not the phone that appeals to me, but yeah, I think it's
I
gonna
understand.
Be, I think it's
also
gonna
have
be
a mini.
12S. Are you
Randy
guys,
convinced me.
Nick, do you think it's gonna be 13, 12S, 14, 15?
I think they'll just do.
I think
They'll
there's-
pull a Samsung and they'll just start calling it 2021. You know, iPhone 2021,
Please no.
iPhone 22, iPhone 23.
There's not a good solution though, because pretty much anything they do will eventually, if they keep doing what they've been doing, the names will get worse and worse. If it turns into iPhone 17s Pro Max, that's also going to be just as stupid as iPhone 2026, iPhone 20. And I've heard many solutions or many theories on what they should do, but all of them suck, honestly. I've never seen a good one. It's always like, well, then you got to list the screen size, or maybe call it iPhone Air and then call it iPhone Pro and iPhone Pro 2 and reset the cycle. It's like it all ends up with crappy syllables, and I'm sure Apple's kind of backed themselves into a corner now where they're like, well, it's all going to suck anyway. So eventually, kind of like the 10R, I think they're just going to fall back on whatever looks good marketing-wise. and I think that the 12, the lineup coming out this year is going to be so design close to last year that's going to be the reason to be like, this is an S year. We're not going to act like this is a new design or a breakthrough like the 12 was. And they did do 10 and then 10S, so I feel like S has not been completely ruled out, even though they didn't do 7S. When there's a recycled design just with mostly internal upgrades, I still see them using it. So that's why I'm guessing it'll still be 12S, but it doesn't look right in titles and stuff. It just looks like 12. So I'm like, yeah, if I talk about the next iPhone, I'm going to call it 13, even though it's not really 13. But I guess that means we'll probably keep calling it 13 next year after the 12S launches.
The content creators are digging ourselves into a hole, because the SEO is going to be, it's going to be like, that was old videos that were said 13, and now they're still talking about the 13, you know?
Right.
I think 12, now it's having this conversation, I'm like, I should just start doing 12S, because like, that makes more sense. I don't know, though.
It does make sense to me.
If we can get every content creator to switch at the same time and every website, then we'll be okay. But like,
well, is there a way you can type the S within a box? Can we make that happen in the
yes,
title?
you can actually.
Wait,
it's a
really?
symbol.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
You just have
Will
to
it
make
show up as
keyboard
a
shortcut.
question mark on certain phones, though? iPhone 12? You know, because that's what I don't want to happen.
Yeah.
Because we need something that makes it not look like 12s.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Well, iMessage has it. Nick just texted
Yep.
me.
It works on Twitter and stuff too.
XS. Okay. Well, maybe we should try that. Maybe that'll work. But
interesting.
yeah, I think 13 is just our kind of how everyone called the iPhone 10 the iPhone 8 all year leading up.
Yep.
Do you remember that?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Everything was 8, iPhone 8,
iPhone 8 edition.
and the
iPhone
7S.
edition.
Oh my God, iPhone 8 edition was that was such an ugly name.
That was
we
like
all wish.
that was like such a. You know how you look back on like your, I don't know, 10 through like 13 age years, and you're just kind of like cringe. That's kind of what this is all feeling like. Yeah, we were all like, we had like the fingerprint sensor on the back, and we had like the ugly chin, and
oh my God, that leak.
and then everyone was like, "Ew, the notch is gross," and here we are,
That
2021.
was disgusting.
I'm still upset.
I had it all planned out in my head. I was thinking they could call the 8 and 8 Plus, they should have called 7S and 7S Plus
Yeah.
because they were so similar.
Yes.
And then call the iPhone 10 iPhone Edition because they had Apple Watch Edition, and it was supposed to be like this big leap for 10 years or whatever. So make that your one-off. Make that your like extra premium, super luxury, super iPhone. Just call it the Edition. Don't put a number or anything on it.
Yeah.
Just because it's high class. Then the following year, when we had 10S and 10S Max, call those iPhone 8, 8 Plus. That way it's you continue the same naming scheme of 7. You know, we had for so many years they were doing great. They did 4, 4S, 5, 5S, 6, 6S, 7. It was 2017 where they broke it all. And I thought that that's okay if you want to do 3 iPhones, just call the extra one something special. Call it Edition or, you know, iPhone. I think I saw once someone said Decade Edition somewhere. But I was like, just don't do 10 spelt like an X, because then everyone's going to call it X and everyone's going to... Where's 9? There's not an iPhone 9. I guess 9's
Poor Windows 9.
unlucky.
I think they
don't like 9.
They did dig themselves in a hole with the new super cycle, because that's what they're doing. It used to be a 2-year. It used to be 4
Yeah.
revision, 5 revision,
Right.
6. But now they're doing
Yes.
well, what I believe they're going to do. I mean, you can if they just do what they did with the iPhone 10 again, it's going to be 10 revision S year, bigger revision,
Camera year.
Yeah, basically camera year the next year.
We're gonna
with
bring
the
back
11
the
and the 11
iPhone
Pro.
C branding. Woohoo!
And then maybe, and then then you go to 12, and I believe it's going to be 12, 12S. I don't know. 13, there's something off about it. It just doesn't sound. It's also just an unlucky number, you know. Not that I'm superstitious, I don't care, but like, it just doesn't sound.
Well, I think there
Not
was some
superstitious,
psychological
I'm a little
experiment.
stitious,
A little. There was some psychological experiment, I think, that explained why companies don't like to put 9 is because it's so close to 10. And 10 sounds like a premium, like full complete number, whereas 9 sounds like one less. 9 sounds like you're so close. But I don't know how much that actually
But their
contributes to
prices
sales
are all
and whatnot.
9s.
But Yeah, they like 9 because it's just under. Because with price, you want it to be just under, but with the version, you want it to be like the top. But then they do iOS 9 and stuff, iOS 13. So, I think at some point they're going to have to change up the formula. They can't keep going with the numbers in S years. But yeah, what I've noticed in the past 6 years has been you have the 6, which was the redesign, then the S year, and then 7 was the camera year. That's when they did dual camera, portrait mode. More refinement. It's kind of like a second S year. Yes. Then you got your redesign. Then the S was the incremental, diversifying the iPhone 10 to more sizes. And then after that, we had 11, which was all about night mode, ultra wide. That was the camera year. More refinements, but more emphasis on the camera. That was probably the most noticeable difference year after year. Was we got ultra wide, we got night mode now. So that means we're in the incremental year this year, and then next year we'll get a big camera boost, which I've even seen a few rumors alluding to, like the periscope lenses coming to iPhones next year. Yeah, so it's like
next year. That makes sense.
There's your strategy.
I think Drew cracked the code, because that's what I've seen. I forgot. Yeah, the 7 actually fits in. The 6, XS, and 7 fit in the same category as the 10, 10s, and 11. Yeah.
But I don't know. They changed the strategy though sometimes, so we might be in the start of a 4-year cycle after this.
I was just about to say, at what point do you think we're going to start just doing a 4-year cycle? Because what else can they do?
No, I want the iPhone to be here forever.
Ever, yeah.
It will be here forever.
I know leaks and rumors have suggested otherwise, but I'm still convinced the notch won't change this year because of how long. The notch has
It has
unchanged.
to.
Really?
It has to.
Oh, no.
It has to change?
They can't get away with the same notch since 2017.
Really? Wow.
I feel like we say this every year, though.
Yeah.
But, okay, this year... I sound like an addict. This time we're going to change. This time I'm going to be better.
Well, that's how I feel. It's not that I don't want it to shrink. I feel like we've been saying the same notch argument since 2019. It's been like, it's got to be this time.
Yeah. Listen, I believe that Apple was toying around with the skinnier notch, but I think they've settled on the less tall, the shorter notch. I think that sounds most realistic. It is an S year as well. I mean, I feel like it has to. I just feel like it has to happen. I feel like they were probably not doing it this year because we didn't get promotion, but I have a feeling if they're going to do a screen upgrade, they're going to go like all the way. Rather than something subtle.
So
my thought process is that they want to pretend the notch isn't a thing. So to shrink the notch would be to acknowledge that having a notch is bad. Therefore, that would make their older iPhones be considered worse or something. So my prediction is that Apple is just saying the notch is there and no one cares. It's fine. It's the iconic look, and they're not going to remove it until they can completely get rid of it, not like reduce it or compromise with a camera hole. I think they're just like, it's there. You just got to live with it until we find a way to completely abolish it, which won't be soon.
Yeah.
So
that's fair.
That's my theory.
For ever since the iPhone 10 had the notch, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is too big." I was like, "No, I love the notch. It's iconic. I don't want it to change." If you look on that little made for iPhone logo, the MFI logo that you see on like different products, back in the day, it used to be an iPod, right? Made for iPod, and it was just a rounded rectangle with a circle, and it was very simple. Just a simple icon, but you got the picture. That was an iPod. No one was ever going to confuse that circle with a rounded rectangle for anything else. It was an iPod. Very iconic. When we got to iPhones, iPhone OG through iPhone 8 Plus, we had, or I guess even with the SE, it was rounded rectangle, line, small circle. And that was very iconic, and that never changed. Now we're in the iPhone 10 generation, where we have just rounded rectangle with a little notch at the top. And the ratio of the notch is very pleasing. I sometimes just look at it. I love how the curve. Shut up! No, that's not weird.
I'm not saying anything.
I don't stare at my. I don't stare at my phone and just drool. Never.
It does help people know which way they're holding their phone.
That's fair.
Which my dad ran into that once when I first sold him my 11 Pro Max. He picked it up upside down and then was like, oh, and then tipped it over. So I feel like I do agree that the iPhone would look very kind of bland without one.
Yeah.
It does kind of, it would just kind of become, and then once everyone else is doing no notch, design all becomes meaningless at the every phone just kind of becomes the same.
That's
so
fair.
I don't know, but it's not a great reason to keep the notch in the first place.
Yeah. I want to see some innovation there. I accepted it just because the 12 was so good, but I'm ready. I'm ready for.
Would you be okay with a camera hole cutout?
I think I would. I think I just anything. I just want something different than the notch. It's like not even. Is it? My point is like, is it problematic now? No. Does it work? Yeah. But it's like we could say that about anything. It's just like, well, should we just stop innovating entirely? Should we just leave it?
Yeah.
Like, should we just keep the notch for whatever? But I agree. Like, I'm not somebody who's like the notch is problematic. I completely agree that it's like it's fine. Like it does help you with orientation and it's good and But I just like I'm not gonna be just like I'm not gonna let Apple take this one. All right, I gotta be vocal and I'm just like you with the Mini. With you with the Mini, it's the same thing. It's like you don't want to become complacent with this thing or not be vocal about something you care about because. I know they watch all of our videos and
totally.
Obviously,
and the podcast.
So, would you go as far as to not upgrade if the notch is the same?
No.
Okay. So he's going to be vocal about it, but
you're
not
willing
that
to
vocal.
put your foot down.
Listen, I have never not gotten the new iPhone every year, and I don't plan to stop.
I plan to
Hello,
stop.
my name's Nick, and I am an addict.
Like literally.
Well, I'm glad you will.
Here's my dilemma. I have a really hard time knowing that there's something better out there that I don't have. And I don't know
That's
where this comes from. Like, but if there's a product that is better, I will not be satisfied until I have the best. Like, I'm starting to feel that way with like this Imac that I have, and I'm just like, it's the best normal Imac, but I want something better, And then they discontinued the Imac Pro, so
I know
that was crazy.
Which is like not surprising, but also heartbreaking at the same time. It's like, yeah, that makes sense, but also, oh my god!
Did I tell you? I don't know if I told you what I did. I think I mentioned it in a video or something, but I was so desperate for new iMac that last week I went on eBay and I bought an 18-core iMac Pro like spec'd out.
What?
Are you serious?
Because
Sam.
I was so no. I have.
You did?
Okay. And then
This is fascinating.
and then the leak about the colors came out.
Oh.
And then we heard that the M1X benchmarks were legit.
Oh.
And I said, "Hi, I'd like to cancel my order, please." And they said, "Okay." And I said,
Oh, they said okay? So you didn't do it. Okay,
So-
next question. How much was that config?
I think it was about $7,000.
That's not bad. Actually,
I got it. It
that's
was refurb.
Okay.
But
Okay,
it was
my favorite.
18 core, Vega 64, 128 gig RAM, and 2 terabyte SSD.
Okay.
So it was a
Dang.
computer,
Yeah.
That's a great deal, though.
But the thing that broke me, Drew, and the thing that made me say no is, number one, I've told everyone don't buy a Mac, so I'm so hypocritical. Number two, the M1X benchmark suggests that it will be nearly 100% faster than M1, and the resale value of this $7,000 computer would probably be it'd probably be about $1,000.
Yeah.
Like if I'm being
Resale
real with
value
myself,
will not be good.
I'd lose about 85% on the deal.
Yeah.
And
Probably.
I was just like, I will just deal with my iMac being just not fast enough in the hopes that this new, I mean, like everybody, like I know Luke Miani's saying this, John's saying this now, Prosper says he's going to get the iMac. I'm getting the iMac. Do you think you're going to be upgrading you guys to the Silicon?
I've been saying I would get a redesigned iMac for the past 3 years, but they've never done it. So I just keep saying like, oh yeah, the money's already been put aside. I'm ready. If they updated the site right now, I would. I have a budget though. I wouldn't pay anything for it. Like if it's $10,000, I'd be like, I think I'll just get a 16-inch MacBook Pro instead.
Okay.
But if it's like sub 6,000, because I have this ideology in my head of like I don't want to. iMac Pro nearly bankrupted me, like saving up for that when it came out and like leading up to that launch. I put aside so much money, and I wasn't making very much back then, that I was barely able to swing it. And I was like, okay, I never want to spend this much money on a computer again. So I want computers to get faster than this, better than this one, and cheaper. So that's kind of the goal I'm aiming for, is to spend less money than I did on the iMac Pro, but get a way better machine. So my price range is between around 5 and 6, preferably lower if possible. That would be great. I don't really care about RAM that much. I probably should, but I'm kind of like, the unified memory with Apple Silicon is like, I did a bunch of editing off of the MacBook Air with the M1, and it was great. And the only issue with it is, of course, is it's I/O, and it's not an all-in-one desktop, which I prefer having. So if they can, basically, if they did a redesigned iMac with the M1 chip, I would probably still buy that, even if it wasn't much different from the Mac Mini and whatnot. I'd be like, perfect. I want iPad Pro on a stick, and I don't care what color it is. It's going to be all less bezel, right? So, like, I don't care what the back of the computer looks like. I'm never going to see that. It's just going to sit on my desk. Just give me it in silver, space gray, whatever. Make it pink for all I care, as long as I can get it soon. But when I hear the reports of it being, like, late this year, I'm like, oh, come on. I've been waiting so long. I thought it was... In 2020, they were talking about it being kind of early 2021, and now it sounds like actually late 2021. So that's by far the most exciting thing for me in Apple this year is just the iMac redesign, because it's been the same for so long. But yeah, I really want to replace my iMac Pro, just because I've had the same rig and for so long, and I want something faster that can export quicker. And I've actually been doing a lot of videos at 1080p just to speed up the export time. And I wanted to see how many people would notice if I switched. A few people did, but not a huge number. So I was just kind of like, I could get a lot more done if this computer was not like sitting on the export thing for so long. And that does save a lot of time. So I'm just messing around with it. But yeah, I'm excited for Macs primarily this year.
Do you have just the 8-core Xeon, Drew?
Yes.
Okay. That's I have my old iMac Pro, because I got it after you got it, because I was so jealous that you got it before me.
I remember that.
And I have it just for like, sometimes I like just mess around on it. It's like my side project machine for just like fun stuff. And like, it's great to not have to carry this iMac that's in front of me into my like studio area and back every single day, because that's horrible. But
that's fair.
Sure.
I'm still just impressed how cheap, for the money, how many processing oodles you get. Like the M1 Mac Mini is like the best price per dollar I've ever experienced. For my workflow, which I edit, half a dozen or so podcasts every week and do some other videos in Final Cut, like I have no need for more power than what the M1 Mac Mini can provide.
Whoa.
So I might be tempted for some pretty flashy Apple product, but I'm just satisfied and smiling.
I need my problem with the M1, because I am like so over Intel. Every time I go back to my M1 Mac, I use my 16-inch MacBook Pro for the first time. Like my car was getting worked on, so like my dad picked me up, and I just hung out at his work for a couple hours yesterday. And I was like, the 13-inch was at like 40% battery. I'm like, I know this will last me, but the 16-inch was fully charged. So I'm like, just in case. It is a bigger screen. I should probably use this thing more, because literally I didn't open it for 20 days. Like when I opened it, I was watching like an H3 podcast from like 4 weeks ago on it. And I was like, whoa,
oh, wow.
I haven't touched this in a minute. And it took 15 seconds to open the Messages app on the 16-inch. Like, wow. What are we doing out here? And like, what are we doing, Apple? Like,
what's going on?
It's just so I'm disgusted by it. We are so spoiled, which is the M1, but we're also in that spot. Is like all of us. Well, I'm glad the M1 works for like what you're doing.
Yeah, I would love to see it twice as fast, but
just like
it's only $700, and it was on the refurb store for $600, and it's just like. You can't beat that.
It's the best price. I agree. I agree. It is the best price per like dollar that you can get. Like I agree. It's the best performance per dollar. I've just noticed for me, because I'm doing like 4K 10-bit now. It's just not fast enough, and like the export times are just slower. No, I don't. Okay. But I know that would probably would that add to the processing or
that would add more to the processing on the computer side for any kind of color grading that you want to do. It'll have to re-render the whole project in that.
Yes. So I'm just like as much as I've seen some people switch to M1, I'm just not personally there for what I'm doing with like for blogging. Oh my God, it's perfect. You don't need anything else than an M1. But you know, screen size. There was a minute where I was like, do I get the M1 Mac Mini and then the Pro Display XDR just because that would kind of be like an iMac? But
yeah.
But
that's a big purchase.
But it's so pretty. I looked at one. Have you guys ever heard of Micro Center? Do they have those?
Oh, I love Micro Center.
Oh, Nick, you're a Midwestern boy like me. It's so good.
Oh.
It's so good.
Yeah. It's just imagine a Best Buy on the scale of Walmart with just computer parts and other nerdy things.
Wow.
It's amazing.
It is the best. They've said their goal is to be the best computer store in the world, and they have done it. Like
barring an Apple store, I would agree with that.
Yeah, I got this new. I'll put my video down. I got this new like Razer keyboard and like glowy stuff because I'm a gamer, and like
I love how confidently you said that. I'm a gamer.
I went into Micro Center and I don't do much like research on like PC peripherals or whatever. So I was just like, I know I want a Razer. I know I want like one of these. I want to feel the keyboard. And like the sales associate literally was like, oh yeah, let me just open up. He literally opened up a new product and just took it out for me to touch.
Wow.
And they can just do that. Like they literally, any product you're interested in, they can take out of a new box and let you play with it. And I was like, that literally was the sale. Like me being able to touch it, I was like, yep, I want that, and yep, I want that mouse. Okay, cool, I'm in. Like,
dang,
that was game changing, and I was like, that is such a good way.
I'd like to see one sometime.
Dude, it's so good. Come to St. Louis, I'll take you. Literally, there's one like 8 minutes away from me. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So we should. Yeah, it sounds like St. Louis is where everybody is now. So
popular place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was actually, before I ask that, I was going to ask if you have a time limit. Do you have to be done by a certain point?
No, I don't have a time limit. It's Saturday.
Okay.
Saturdays are for the boys, you know.
Saturdays for the boys.
Just kidding.
That's right. Well, I was going to say something we didn't talk about that we were going to was you can export much larger files probably because now you have much more comfortable upload speed. Got the best ISP out of the three of us, I think.
But not the coolest. Not the coolest.
I think it's kind of the coolest.
Yeah, having good upload speed is cool.
I am very blessed. This is not a plug for AT&T, but it is. If you have AT&T in your
Did you get 5G with AT&T? Yay!
Listen, they are doing $70 a month, taxes included, for $940 down and $940 up. $70 a month.
Holy crap!
No contract.
What?
And it's month to month.
Month to month.
What?
Whoa! That's amazing.
I was paying, I think $200 for $940 down and $35 up with Charter. Freaky Spectrum. I'm friggin' pissed. I hate you guys now. But AT&T, I guess the nebula that is them. Maybe we should work on the upload speed. Maybe we should just make it even close to the download speed. Like,
right.
I don't understand, because you were saying the same thing with Xfinity with you pre-show, Drew. You were like, yeah, they give me great download. It's fantastic on Nick when I was with these, but the upload is like 35. Why is there that disparity?
And ours was $145 a month for that, for 40 up.
That's awful.
Yeah, and the customer service is terrible.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because Nick, do you have a hard stop? Do we need to?
I do have 2 other shows to do today. So, but this is a fun conversation. I want to hear Drew talk about Starlink again. So let's keep going.
Well, I wanted to announce something on the podcast, so I didn't bring it up before.
Okay. Whoa!
I'm excited.
Breaking news, everyone!
We've canceled Comcast. It's gone. Xfinity.
Yes! Nice.
Xfinity's gone. And some people are cringing right now because they're like, Drew, Starlink sucks. What are you thinking? But basically, my wife worked one full day, which last Saturday was her first full day off of Starlink. And we were recording the podcast at the time. And last episode, I was like, I think it's okay. She's not complaining about it. We finished recording the podcast. And then right after that, she was like, okay, let's cancel Comcast. And I was like, oh, but hun, like, we should probably wait, see how it does, and try it out a little bit longer. And she was like, no, I'm done. Nice. She's like, I don't want to pay Comcast anymore, because basically our bill was due on March 2nd for another month, and we were like, okay, so if we cancel now, we can avoid that extra $145. And we also discovered that our Mint Mobile hotspot can basically do a lot of the basics.
Yeah.
Like if she needed to, she could work off of the hotspot. So we realized that we were kind of, with Mint Mobile and Starlink and Xfinity, we were kind of having like triple redundancy for work, which is kind of expensive, because Mint Mobile's we pay for once a year and it's already covered, so it's not an additional charge to use our hotspot. And her work is online, customer support. It does not use a bunch of data. So if Starlink even went out for, it hasn't, but if it like completely shut off for a day, she could still work if she needed to. But the logic she presented to me that made sense for her was that in the event that Starlink doesn't work or Mint Mobile doesn't work and she can't work from home, her job would just call her in and she would just go to the building.
Gotcha.
And she mentioned that going to the building would not cost $145, but
This is true.
Xfinity would. So she's like, if something does go wrong and I have to drive to work, it's not going to cost as much as it is to keep Xfinity around. So we really investigated cheaper Xfinity plans to keep it around as a backup for emergencies. And we were reaffirmed as to why Xfinity is trash, because they do not have many tiers where we are. For one, I've learned that Xfinity tiers are very different depending on where you are. They have certain things available for certain people and not available for others. And where we are, there's like this gigabit plan, and that's the only way to get 40 up. Everything else is less than 40. The next tier down was something like 100 down and 10 up. And it was like not even much cheaper. It was something like $80 a month. And then below that, for $50 a month, it was 25 down, 3 up.
Oh, whoa.
For $50 a month. And this is not counting data. All these have a data cap.
What?
That doesn't count
There's
unlimited data.
You have data caps?
Yeah, that's why ours was so expensive. Is the gigabit plan was 110, and then we kept going over the data cap, and they would charge us overage fees on top of 110. And to get unlimited data, it's an extra like $35 a month, which is what pushed us to 145. And every month that goes by, it was getting more expensive.
Wow.
It like 3 months ago, it was 140. Then it's 143. Now it's 145. And we were just like, how do we get off of this as soon as possible?
Oh my god, dude.
Starlink's not the cheapest in the world at $100 a month, but it at least it's $45 cheaper a month, and there's no data cap on Starlink. And after working with it for the past week now, over a week, I know I can still upload all my videos. There's occasional dropouts during these FaceTime calls, but it's not enough of an inconvenience for me to keep paying even $50 a month for a backup, especially when in a pinch I can just hotspot off my phone when I need to, which I actually did a full Twitch stream off my phone's hotspot.
Thankfully, your iPhone 12 mini has 5G. I mean, we would never be able to do that on LTE.
Actually, there's not 5G where I am.
Oh no! Okay, so it is on LTE.
It is still 4G where I am, and the speed was good enough to do a whole Twitch stream off of, and it worked pretty well. So I was like, okay, we've got Mint Mobile as the backup, we've got Starlink, and it's working. The first couple days were a lot more bumpy than more recently. Like the first, it was like TV streaming was buffering, but then after like 2 days, it really ironed itself out. Now it hardly ever buffers. I don't even notice we have Starlink at this point. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, I am so glad to contact them. Canceling was so difficult. They made it. I had to call in. They didn't have an option on the website to cancel.
What?
So I had to talk to a person.
Oh.
And The person on the phone did absolutely nothing, by the way. I talked to them for about 30 minutes and said, okay, if we cancel right now, like, does that mean we don't have to, there's no cancellation fee, we don't have to pay for any more service, right? This, because our next bill is on the 2nd. This was February 27th, I think.
Okay.
And I was calling them and I just said, I want to cancel our service. We don't use it. We don't want it anymore. And they said, okay, it's all canceled. We won't charge you anything. There's no cancellation fee. And then March 2nd came around and they were like, okay, your bill's ready to pay. And we were like, we called and canceled. But I did think it was weird because there was no like cancellation confirmation, which the person on the phone said it was canceled, but they didn't send us anything. And I was like, well, this is weird. So the bill showed up, and then we did online customer chat instead of the phone, and they were like, what? No, it says on our records here, no one canceled your service. And I was like, well, we called you guys and
you
asked
just called Greg
to cancel.
in marketing, and Greg was like, yeah, I'm just going to
I called somebody who didn't do anything. They basically looked at my info and said, okay, we'll cancel it, and then shut the computer off.
Wow.
Maybe
Dude,
she had crappy internet.
Hate big companies taking advantage of people.
Totally.
There's very few things that disgust me more. Because like they just prey on people that aren't like us, that aren't going to follow up. And
they have a monopoly.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
What else are you
We
gonna do?
can't switch.
I've even talked to like my friends, like just about like.
Wait, you have
buying
friends,
philosophy.
Sam?
I know.
Okay, wow.
Breaking. This is what I wanted to reveal, guys. I do have.
It's a big
a
announcement.
couple of my friends blow my mind. Like one of them ordered a controller off of Amazon, and part of it was broken. Like the right trigger broken on
geez.
open, right?
Uh-huh.
I instantly would contact the company and say, "Hey, I'm
Suit
returning this.
Amazon.
Can I get a replacement?"
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I would instantly reach out, and I was like, hey, like, how's the controller, dude? And he was like, oh, it's good. Like the trigger's still messed up. A week later, I asked, and he was like,
wow.
I was like, well, wait, didn't you get like contact me? It's a lot of work to return and stuff. I'm like, no, you
Dude,
paid
it's broken.
You paid $25 for this. Like, contact the. It's just a lot. I think I'm gonna buy another controller. What?
Oh, no.
No.
What?
No.
It's awful.
But like that put it into perspective that this is why they have policies at Comcast and Charter and everywhere else like they do. Because somebody is gonna go, I had a long week at work. I guess let's just keep it for another month, and then they get another $200. You know, like, and if 5% of people are like that, that is millions of dollars of revenue a year.
Yeah.
That's just passive, And that's what made me
And there
realize.
was a cancellation fee.
There was? Oh.
There was, and they prorated our bill. So on the phone, they said there wouldn't be any more bills after this.
Yeah.
But then on customer support, they were like, oh, we're going to charge you for the time up to that point. And the prorate cost is way higher.
Yep. I had that when I left Verizon.
Like it's not 145 divided by 30 days. They jack it up to like it was like $6 a day, and even though we were only on the billing service for 15 days, they charge us $100 for that amount of time, even though it was only half a billing cycle, and we were very angry. But the whole process made me just so glad we're done with them because I don't want to.
I'm very happy
so
that you
abusive
put your
because-
dollars where your mouth is, Drew, and you stop supporting big iggy companies.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, they're gone. We're not the cancellation was official later that day, March 2nd.
The divorce, you mean?
4 days. I literally to rewire the Starlink cable to my office. I've literally cut the coax that Xfinity installed. So
You're a cable
could
cutter.
not-
Look at you.
they could not activate it if they wanted to.
Oh,
Someone
that's
would have to come out.
amazing.
But yeah, I was just like, I'm done with Comcast. This is getting more expensive by the minute. I hate supporting this business. And I know Starlink speeds aren't as good. I'm well aware of that. And I know the service isn't as reliable. But I know it will improve, not stay the same. And all of the cheaper plans on Comcast involved either upload or download that is worse than Starlink.
Yep.
So if we wanted to just save money by downgrading our Comcast plan, we would have to put up with worse speeds. So knowing that Starlink is like a roadmap, knowing that it can get much faster over time, and I can see SpaceX improving it, and I watched a Starlink launch with Starlink,
That's kind of
which was awesome.
That's pretty sick.
And knowing how much it's going to improve, I'm okay putting up with some compromises now if it means that I don't have to spend $145 a month. But yeah, the fact that the person on the phone said there would not be a cancellation fee, but there was, because they said there's a cancellation fee because our 2-year contract with them ended today, March 6th.
Oh, what?
So it was 4 days before the contract ended,
Oh,
and they were
my
like,
gosh.
"Oh, that's a breach of contract. You have to, you have to." So we thought about it for a second. We were like, "Wait, so is it cheaper for us to just pay for the next one?" But no, because that includes the big $145 a month,
Oh
and you don't get that back
Dude, I hate
if you
them
cancel the next
so
day.
much. My blood is boiling as you continue just telling me how awful they are.
I was so frustrated, but I'm just glad to be done now. I'm
Oh.
like, okay, you know, if Starlink completely exploded and we couldn't use it at all, Xfinity is still there. I'm sure if we called them and asked to reinstall it, they probably could within a few days if we really needed to. But no more bills going to them anymore.
Good.
I want to support SpaceX every month with my money.
Yeah.
They can have my money. I donate to them regardless. So yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you do this sometimes, you guys, when you make videos. Do you ever like make a video and then you decide not to release it?
Yep.
I don't do it often, but there are a couple in the bank, just a couple, and I don't even know if I have them anymore. But one of them was like a mini expose I did on Verizon. Because they had lied to me on the phone multiple times. This was around the time of the iPhone 10 when I made those like couple videos, but this is a little bit later.
Yeah.
They lied to me on the phone that they were going to fix something for me. They, at the store, without my consent, put me on a protection plan that I did not ask for.
Ooh.
And I looked at my
wow.
bill and I said, why is this on here? I was told on the phone that they would, I don't think they reimbursed me for it. They just said they would take it off. So they made me pay like an extra $5 or $10 a month. I then was looking closer into the store where I bought it from, and there was a healthy trend of customer reviews, it was even more disgusting that it was from older people, where they were essentially tagging this on to most people in the store's thing because you get a slight commission for it, and no one had consent, and I also had a run-in with the manager who didn't like that I was a public figure, and he didn't want me to film or do anything in the store because he didn't want anything to be on video. And I ended up canceling the video because I was too emotional and frustrated in it that it ruined the piece. But I never released it. But I was just disgusted. It was a store in Peoria, Illinois. It was the one in East Peoria. I hope Verizon shuts this place down because they were absolutely horrible. And I had a number of terrible experiences there. All the reviews, there were number reviews that was like, I felt like they were taking advantage of me. They wouldn't give me my refund. And it's just like, this is problematic. This is the downfall of the free market system. You can't just let it be a Wild West out here, you know? It's like we need somebody to step in and say, hey, it shouldn't be allowed for Verizon to rip people off. That shouldn't be allowed. Like, why don't we agree on that as humans? Like, same with you for like, that is so ridiculous that they don't let you. Like, you know,
I've had very same stories with Verizon. They're the worst. Like there were so many stories, especially with my parents, that going there and they'd be like, "Oh, we're gonna add this plan or whatnot, or you can't downgrade now,"
or when they tell you they're gonna give you so much for a trade-in and they don't give it to you and you have no way to get it back.
Oh, that happened to me
It
once.
happened to me too. Yeah.
What?
It happened so long ago. When I bought the iPhone 6 Plus, it was kind of before I was making a living off of YouTube, and I bought it through Verizon because they offered me this really great trade-in deal on my 5. And I was like, oh, okay, great. And they sent me the iPhone 6, but they didn't send me anything to return the iPhone 5 in, even though on the website and stuff it was like, we'll go send you a return package. So they were like, you have to return the iPhone 5, you have to include this type of label and this shipping, you know, kind of like how when you return with Apple, they give you a trade-in box that you put your old stuff in. They didn't send me any of that. So I reached out to them and said, I didn't get a return package for my iPhone 5, and that's supposed to deduct the price of my 6 Plus. And they said, oh, okay, we'll send you out another one in a few weeks. So takes a while. I remember specifically, it took like 10 days or something for the box to get there. I finally got the box, and with the updated label, I put my iPhone 5 in it, and I shipped it off. And then they said, you don't qualify for the discount because you were late on the return. And I was supposed to return it within 7 days, even though they took like 10 days to send me the return package. So they kept the phone, but gave me none of the credit.
What?
They did not send the phone back. This happened back in 2014, I believe. So
Wait, they stole
I didn't
your
have
phone.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
Basically,
they
yeah.
stole your phone. Verizon stole your cell phone.
That's exactly what happened.
That's the title
I'm not
and
making this
thumbnail,
up. This legit happened. That was so long ago, I didn't really have much of a presence, so I couldn't really complain to anyone at the time, but I was really mad because they didn't... I thought that if you didn't qualify for the trade-in, they would at least send the phone back.
Right?
At least send it back to me and say, okay, you don't qualify, you were too late. But also, I was late because of them in the first place. I was very frustrated, but I guess I had that back in my mind. That's why I wanted to get off Verizon as soon as possible too. I was just like, these guys suck.
Verizon's coverage is nice.
Shady
I'll give
stuff.
them that.
Yeah.
I mean, their coverage,
Yeah, their
is
coverage
the
is
best.
amazing.
But for me, I was paying them.
They know that.
I was paying them like over $300 a month for my family and all of our devices, and
That's what my parents were paying.
I couldn't have been
back.
more happy when I left. But they made it so challenging to leave for Visible, which is still a child subsidiary of Verizon. So it's not like I left the red check mark. I just went to a brand that
something
cares.
that always annoyed me with Verizon and helping my parents with it is the security of like billing codes and passwords and different accounts and authorized users and stuff. They make it so complicated to navigate
Took
the
me
site
like 5
and
minutes to
navigate
find
like
a PDF of my bill. Because I was like, why is my last bill 3 times as much? It was like $600 was the last bill.
you want to like
it's because
analyze your plan or your
same
devices, and they cake it in ads.
Yeah, exactly. It's like upgrade. I went to look at my last bill, which was like $600, which was twice the amount of the normal one. But it was because we all left like one of the last days of the month, and they prorated everything. But the plan they prorated us on, instead of being $55 a month, was $95 a month, and they prorated like 90-something% of the $95.
ridiculous.
And I'm just like, good riddance. Like, goodbye, guys. You guys are so wrong.
That's one of my favorite things about when I switched to Mint was that it was like as simple as any other account would be. It was like email, password. Here's your plan. Here's your payment method. That's it. It wasn't like a million other things of like, are you an authorized user? And Verizon makes it impossible to have like a one-line account.
Yeah.
They always want like 4 or 5 people. If you do a one-person account, it's like $500 a month or whatever.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
Crazy. And they encourage you to rope everybody in. Oh.
So I have a confession. I am on Verizon right now.
I know you are. I feel
End the
bad
call.
for you.
And I am not. I will what is the one where you can sue them? Defamation. I would like
Defamation.
Verizon to sue me for defamation because everything that we said is 100% true, and it is provably undefamable. I will libel them as well because I don't. I'm just frustrated that they like 3 of us should not have a story about losing hundreds of dollars.
Right.
And we are
3 separate people, and we live in different parts of the country.
Most technically savical.
Oh yeah.
Piece.
Oh, I'm technically savage. That's for sure. I'm so savage.
Savvy.
Technically
Jesus.
savage.
We are savvy people, and we struggled to do it. And some of they stole your phone. They prorated you at a plan you weren't on. Like,
They added a protection plan to you without consent.
Yes, I am. I'm done giving big companies a chance, and I don't know if I've shared this story publicly, but I almost got into a small claims lawsuit with UPS a few weeks back because of some malarkey that they pulled. And I almost did a small claims with Verizon, and I settled my small claims with Amazon because I'm done with these companies acting like they don't have to take care of their customers. And so many people... Like, I can't let it go. I don't know what it is in my brain. I don't know what my parents told me as a kid that made me this way. I don't know what I saw. But I am like, you are not going to take money from me. And I will not, I will be like, because they're always like, they don't care. I was like, I will stay up 72 hours consecutively if it means that you're going to pay me what you owe me. Because you're going to do what's right. Like, I believe in ethics, and I'm a very strong, like, principle-guided person. And it's like, if this happens to me or somebody else, I'm just as mad. And with UPS, I sent a package, and I didn't buy insurance on it. Okay? You know, they always want to upcharge you to insurance. Fun fact, it is the package is in their care, right? It is not my, what am I insuring? That they're not going to lose their package in their possession, right? Yeah. So I never buy insurance because I believe it's just a way for them to charge me more for the same service.
Yeah.
I send my iPhone 11 Pro on Swappa. I sell it. I get a good return. I made it's like $700, right, for this $1,000 phone. Great. I'm really happy. I'm like, oh, this justifies most of the like the 12 Pro I got.
Yeah.
3 days in, says it's lost. Fourth day, they update it. We don't know where your package is. The case is closed. Your package is lost. I said,
that's it.
Okay. So I call. Yeah, sometimes it takes some time to update. Sometimes with a lost package, so another week goes by. And keep in mind, the buyer is like, dude, where's my phone? And
exactly.
He's thinking he's getting have that
scammed.
money. And I'm like, dude, I swear to God, like and of course I'm like, I know me, but he doesn't know me. He thinks I'm some guy that shipped him an empty box. So
he doesn't know.
Things get fishy, and I'm like, all right, UPS. It says that you marked a note in here because they got back to me again after I called for like a fifth time, not getting anywhere. They told me the box was empty when we found it. And I go, now keep in mind, I shipped this phone in an official Apple iPhone box. So it was in that plastic that I know they specifically designed so that it will not fall out even if opened. You would have to completely open the package like that. It couldn't just be a little flap. So I'm like, I know that it was packaged. I checked it. I even remember I had not put a piece of tape on one side of the box. I just forgot. And I went back inside specifically to seal it. Like, I remember this clear as day. And they're like, well, we found the box. And I go, okay, well, then where's my box at? And they go, huh? And they're like, we'll have to get back to you. And I'm like, whoa. No. You can say it's lost. You can say that maybe I did scam. Where's my box? Where's the empty box I sent?
They didn't have it.
Dead silence. So I call corporate. No. Then I call higher corporate. Don't know. Then I finally
how do you find these people to talk to, though? That's my question, because I had a problem with Sprint a while ago. And
dude, I just kept asking for phone numbers, and one sent me to the store sent me to a different thing. So then I found this number online that I was given for a UPS store corporate, which oversees that the stores are doing things ethically and properly because they're all independently and operated. Yeah. And I get that number, and I tell her, and she's the first one that's like, something sounds really fishy here. I'm going to look into this. I'm going to put a note on your profile. I'm going to reach out to the store. I'm going to get this figured out for you. And she like actually cared. Like, I don't even know her name. She was so great. Just whoever answers the UPS corporate line, please like buy their kids college or something because they're so great. Like, and she was like, no, we're gonna get to the bottom of this. This sounds like something's clearly fishy. And I was like, yeah, whatever. So then I finally get a call from the store. From the manager of the store I shipped it from, which was a place in St. Louis. Okay. And he's like, so I'm trying to figure out what's up with your give me a million excuses, right? And I'm like, listen, here's what I'm saying. Unless you can give me my packaging, I'm not accepting that I scam, because I'm like, I see from your perspective, I might have just sent it empty, but you weighed it, and there was something in there, and where's this packaging at? Because what this sounds like is that a UPS employee saw, iPhone inside. All right. Oh, it was an empty box. Sorry. I'm like,
and we lost
it's one of you guys. Yeah. It's not on me. The package is in your care. So the guy's like, this is the big reveal that a lot of people don't know. The guy's like, did you buy insurance? This is the manager from the store. I'm like, no, I did not purchase insurance. He goes, it's only insured for $100. I can give you $100. I said, no, you're going to give me the $700 back, or I'm going to take this to and escalate it. I didn't say small claims, but he knew that's where it was going. And then he's like, I don't know. So he's like, let me call again and see, because he's like, what's up with this money? He doesn't return my call. Another 4 days go by. I call back. I go, hey, it's time. I want my $700. You lost my phone. You've not given me proof of what happened to my package. It is time for me to collect. And he again goes, "What did you get insurance?" I said, "No, I did not buy insurance." He goes, "We can only give you $100." I said, "Here's the deal. I'm going to escalate this to a different level if you do not give me the $700 for my phone that you lost." And then finally he goes, would you accept an amount less than that? So I'm like, oh, there is wiggle
gosh.
room. There is wiggle room. This whole time. Well, maybe. And I said, no, I would not accept less. Yeah, I said I would not accept less than $700. I can give you the exact dollar amount with shipping that I would like back for this purchase. And finally, he cracks and goes, okay, fine. I'll send you a check. And I was like, what? You'll send me a check. So this is what they don't tell you when you buy insurance. Buying insurance at UPS is to cover the local store and their end for losing it. It is not from UPS corporate. That $100 insurance goes to corporate. That money comes from corporate. UPS corporate insures you for $100. Anything you pay more comes from corporate. If that package is lost, it is up to the local store to pay you back.
Wow.
Because they're independently owned and operated. So that check I got was from the local owner in St. Louis of the UPS store.
Interesting. I've never once used the insurance on a package, and I've paid probably $1,000 worth of insurance over my lifetime. So I'm happy to hear this.
I would encourage that you should not buy insurance. I believe that damage might be different, because I believe if it's like a family heirloom, damage would make sense. But like this was a case where it was lost, right? Like a lost package, if you're sending a phone in a properly shipped box, I do not think you need to buy insurance, right? Yeah. But yeah, if you're sending like a one of a kind art piece or something, you need to insure it for that full value, because like that piece will be gone. If it's lost or damaged, like there's one of a kind, right? So that was my experience with UPS. And like, again, why does it take 3 weeks to do these things? To get the right thing and to be in the right situation.
That's crazy. I cannot believe that UPS is actually run by aliens. That's so crazy.
Oh, dang it. I missed the punchline.
I'm sorry. I got too invested in this story. But TLDR is that basically if you buy UPS, it goes straight to corporate. And if a package or something is lost, it comes out of the local owner's pocket, not UPS corporates. So like when I got my check for my phone, it came from the store franchisee, not from UPS. UPS corporate will not give you a cent over $100. So
wow.
Very interesting, and I'm very anti-insurance on UPS now because someone stole my phone.
Yeah,
like someone took it out of the box.
How did that work on the Swappa side? Did your score go down, or how did that work?
They, I think, reached out and were like, "Hey, what's up?" And of course, I was in like constant contact with the buyer, and the buyer was so sketched out. Like he was like, "Dude, there's no like." I kept being like, "I'm sorry, I keep contacting them," and like I would send him a screenshot or like. I was he was just like, okay, just please keep me updated. And I thought he was going to press the report button at one point. And like kind of rightfully so.
Right.
But I was just like, man, this is why selling stuff online is tough. But normally Swappa is great. Yeah. Normally I just sold my Apple Watch 5 the other day on Swappa. And it was, after they returned. There's a lot of issues with selling these to people. But it's a nice
That's why I've never sold stuff online like that before, is this kind of stories, and the shipping stuff has always bugged me. I've sold a lot of stuff in person. I would normally do like just in-person meetups and just sell it and get cash right away. That way there's no carrier to worry about. But yeah, I would probably sell a lot more if I did the online shipping stuff. But those stories always spooked me out of it. I always convinced myself.
It's high stress.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
But... wow.
Yeah.
It's a shame how often people get abused in situations where there's not really much of an alternative.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's like when you have a monopoly and then you're abusing people, it's like, come on. So that's why I was so ready for Starlink as soon as it was available. It's just like I don't even care if the performance is worse. I just don't want to reward this company anymore. So
hell yeah.
That's good. That's about all we can do as consumers anymore. Like, we can file small claims or whatever, but like
we can complain about them online.
But at a certain point though, a company's gotten so big where they can do whatever they want to their customers and they're still going to come.
Yeah.
Like there's Xfinity, perfect example. Like, what else is anyone going to do? Thankfully, Starlink.
Especially with a lot of hardwired, like so many houses have literally no one else they can switch to. So Xfinity knows they can abuse that and add rates or add data caps or charge interest or cancellation fees.
That's bad. That's so bad.
I wouldn't call Apple as much of a monopoly as Xfinity, to be honest.
No,
I
not
don't.
at all.
And they're the ones always facing antitrust lawsuits and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not a monopoly. This is a monopoly.
Dude, telecom and internet communication companies. Those are the biggest problem children here.
For sure.
Apple, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't consider Apple a monopoly, and I'm not saying that from the jaded view of an Apple fan. Like, you can buy it. Like, I mean, arguably PC is faster than Mac. Like, you can get a faster PC than you can a Mac right now. You know? Yeah.
Sorry, I had something.
Yeah.
An old microchip stuck in my throat.
I mean, to me, a monopoly is like when you have no other option on the market.
Exactly.
But what's funny to me about the antitrust cases is it's like we have no other option on the iOS App Store.
Yeah.
It's like that's because it's the iOS App Store.
I have
like treating
no
that
choice
as its own.
at McDonald's to eat something besides McDonald's food.
Right. That's kind of how I see it. Is it's like, well, that's their store. That's how they set it up, and that's been successful for them. And if you're acting like it's a monopoly on their own store, it's like saying Netflix has a monopoly over the Netflix website. It's like they're the ones controlling it. It's like, yeah, that's their thing. If that's not the whole market, though, you got to take in.
Yes.
There's Android. There's the Play Store. There's other options to go
Fire
through.
phone.
But
Super popular.
The Fire phone. Yeah, you guys want to use the Fire phone?
You guys,
I think I still used Android, didn't it?
Well, do you have any last questions or thoughts, Sam, before we wrap up?
Drew, how do I get a better sleep schedule? I feel like you have a healthier sleep schedule than I do.
Really?
I feel like you're always.
Why do you think that?
I feel like you're always up at like 6, 7 a.m. and then you're into bed at a good time. And I think I've noticed that videos do better when you put them out in the morning.
They do.
Really?
They do.
I was going to ask. It was funny because I was going to ask you, how do I grow my YouTube channel? Because I can't do that anymore.
Dude, listen, it's duly. I mean, my subs have been so low this past month too, just because.
Yeah, but your views are amazing.
They're pretty good. This is actually the lowest month I've had though in a long time. Like I'm just
Me too.
I'm barely over 1 million, which is low for me.
That still sounds like barely over 1 million. No, but this is in regards to tech and AdSense. This is the lowest it's been in years. Actually,
it's just been there's just like nothing to talk. We literally get like one good thing a week, which is good for
pretty much
few thousand. It's nothing. So I'm also just hoping content wise that we get the March event because we can continue to make videos about it before.
About 2 weeks worth of hype after too.
Yeah, and then you get the actual day of the event where you're going to sit down and talk about everything, and then you're going to get the post stuff of the actual products. Like it's the cycle, and it's really fun. It's like I love doing the job because you get the pre, the during, and the post, and it's really really fun to see what Drew's going to say about the iPhone when he gets his when the press release drops at 8:01 and his video's up at 8:05. Like.
Yeah, it is fun. It's always like a race, and I enjoy finding out what Apple's going to do. I enjoy making my opinion on what Apple's going to do. So it's kind of a win-win-win scenario. But when we're in the lulls right now, it's kind of frustrating because it's like, what do we talk about now? Yeah. And then you find an idea, you post it, and people are like, I don't care about this. It's like, well, why are you watching?
Yeah, what do you want?
Just don't watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, sleep schedule wise. It's mostly thanks to my wife.
Yeah.
So get married. No, I mean,
basically.
It's we match our schedules up so that we both get up and go to bed at the same time. That way, because her schedule's not as flexible as mine. I can kind of take a whole day off if I feel like it, or I can work for 20 hours if I feel like it. But I've done that a few times. But if the main thing is that me and my wife are spending time together when she's not working. So she works from 6 to 2 most days. Okay. On Saturdays it's 7:30 to 3:30, and I just say, okay, that's when I'll start working. And it did take some getting used to it first, because I used to have this mindset of like, I'm only creative at night, so I can't really make videos until 8 p.m. and be done by 3 a.m. But once I locked in my schedule with hers, and I was just like, okay, this is when we wake up, this is when we start working, and it was just a lot of brute force. But now I've kind of trained myself to, even on weekends, I still wake up at 6 now because that's what I'm used to. But just, we set the alarm and we make sure It's funny you asked that now because we did not follow our sleep schedule very well this week. We stayed up until midnight on Thursday.
Whoa.
We were making lumpia, which is a Filipino dish, but we were watching movies and we were like, oh, this is terrible. We're going to hate ourselves in the morning. But yeah, I would say good for me. Like, I don't put any social media or work-related apps on my phone.
Oh my
and
God,
that
Drew.
detach after 2 o'clock has been. I'm comfortably happy with the schedule that I've been at for the past 6 months. I think it's been
That's
now
good.
to the point that I don't even want to go back. I've gotten so comfortable that I'm not even envious of the time when I could check Discord and Twitter, because it feels like work is done. Because when you're constantly connected with Twitter and stuff, you will perpetually, but before the last thing you do before you go to bed and the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is just, oh, what are people saying? What are people saying? And like, it's tough because people like us have to be on top of the news and we have to be checking. So my workaround for that has just been Safari. I will pretty much, sometimes the first thing I do in the morning is check Mac rumors, because I figured if Apple announces something, it'll be on Mac rumors pretty quick, or 9 to 5 Max.
Come on.
Or Apple Track. That's on my bookmarks.
I will
actually.
Absolutely be asleep, and I have a chronic issue with covering the news, being an owner of a news site. And
especially when stuff gets launched at 5:30
oh my
in the
God,
morning.
why?
Well, I guess it's 7:30 for you, but
It's still,
for me at least, I get up really, really early and just be like, okay, did Apple announce anything? No? Okay, I'm going to go do something else and just relax for a minute.
You're like a good journalist. Like, that's what a good journalist would do. My butt's like, dude, like, I literally I have this, like, running joke where I request that people call me, like, whenever, like, I'll just be like, Drew, just give me a call if this happens, or like, John, call
I
my
can
phone.
do that.
Call my phone 3 times if something comes. And
Nick did that for
AirPods
Pro.
Yeah,
I think
AirPods Pro.
Nick and Mike actually. It was a day off. I was not working that day, and I was just hanging out with my wife on the couch, and we were talking and relaxing. And then I got this text on my watch. It says Apple announces AirPods Pro, and I was like, "Honey, I'm sorry, I got to go into work." And she was like, "That's okay, go ahead." And Mike did the same thing when Tesla announced the standard range Model Y. I was off work. I was not checking the news. I was just hanging out. We were actually writing the script for I Love Louise, and then he's like, "Standard range Y is out, $42,000." I was like, "Wait, what? Okay, we got to film right now."
Yeah.
And that was like late in the evening. So yeah, if you want me to text you and that kind of stuff happens, I can do that.
We need like you know how like the AP has like a news flash of like you can set up an RSS reader so like it won't go off for like dumb news things, but like for actually important news it'll go off. We need that for Apple.
Yes.
I need an AI to determine this is a new initiative we've started for grade school children and iPads.
Yeah.
And like,
we don't need that.
No, thank you.
Right. Yeah, you're right. There needs to be a notification separate from just Apple has some new initiative.
That can be
versus
Apple News Plus Pro.
Yeah, dude, I would
Apple
pay.
Newsroom Plus.
I would pay if I could have an Apple specialist call me. If I could be briefed like a proper member of the press.
Oh yeah, totally.
It like
so
pings
great.
you. It's like the ping sound on your iPhone. It's like it'll be like at midnight or something.
Yeah.
Apple's announced this. It's like, oh god. Yeah, that
And
would
Drew's
be
like,
very
oh good,
helpful.
I already have 3 videos recorded about that. Let's just publicize those.
Oh, Drew, could you imagine how nice it would be if if we got to go on the press calls like The Verge or somebody else?
Oh yeah.
Or I think
That would be fun.
They I think Post as well. There's like a number, you know, the select site, like Wired too.
Yes.
You know, they all. I'm always like,
I wish.
do they have a buddy at Apple the night before that's like, hey Nilay Patel, I'm the editor in chief of The Verge. I'd be in bed at 8 tonight, you know, if I were you. Like, I wonder if it's like one of those things, or like. I don't know.
That would be cool.
I'm just guessing, but like that would just be the dream.
I'd just be like, I have a feeling you should wake up at 4 a.m. tomorrow.
Like that would
you know?
be the dream if somebody from the inside. No, I don't even need to know what it is. Like, I'm not asking for exclusive info. Just like
No, don't tell us, but just say be ready at this point.
A little tip that's like, hey, something's, you know, and I would sign an NDA not to post, but it's just like knowing. I'd be like, oh, I should set my alarm for this time, or I should be in bed early. Would be so nice.
I've never been offered an NDA, to be fair. I'd probably sign one if they.
I was not,
just so
not
I
from
could get the
Apple.
video up on time.
Yeah.
Oops.
It would be so great. But yeah, Drew, I'm still salty. On our AirPods Max release day, I posted my video 5 minutes after you and got a quarter of the views, and I'm still
Really?
I'm still upset. I'm still upset.
Oh no.
I think you won in the long run, though, Sam.
Hey,
I'm looking.
it's about the battle,
I'm gonna
not
check.
the war. Yeah.
Well, but if it was about the war,
I want to check.
I want to look at daily views here.
No, it's not. It's not about that.
No, I'm just fascinated.
Yeah, my
I know
AirPods,
it's not about that.
My AirPods Max video got 65,000 the day it came out. AirPods Max.
I think I know why. You do better.
Why?
And this is very scientific. Okay, this is not personal preference or a subjective opinion of any kind. I think you're a better looking person.
No,
because
that's no.
It's very science based. I know, but
Drew, I think you're hot. I think you're hot, man.
So you, I'm married, but thank you. You told me on the last podcast we had you on, you were like, I think you should put your face in more videos because I think that helps.
Yeah, I do.
So and you do that a lot, I noticed, and it works pretty well. So then I started putting my face in videos, and they were getting worse. And, and people didn't want to click on them when they saw my face. So I think there's some logic here that when people see my face, they go, oh, that's the Ben Gate, Louis Rossman guy. And when they see you, they're like, oh, that's iUpdate. I love iUpdate. He's great.
Dude, there's no way. Here, okay, my evidence for that was that YouTube had tweeted out that videos with one face in the thumbnail did good, and videos with two faces in the thumbnail did even better. Like they had done some testing. So that's why I think it is. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we're all just like,
I believe it.
I feel like we're all just like nerdy tech guys or girls, and it's like, we just. I don't know. I feel like the face has helped more consistently. But I did check the AirPods Max video. Well, I got 65,000 views. You got 160,000 views.
Okay. Well, I'm about to make you feel a little better about this. My weekly average is 157,000.
Okay.
Yours 260,000. So you're a whole 6 figures above the weekly average. So you may have lost the battle, but you won the war, I think, if we're going.
Are we
off
calling this war
also,
already? Wow. Oh, I thought we were going to like the
official.
millions here.
Yeah.
The gold
You're
play
also
button.
gaining subscribers, which is cool.
Are you not gaining subs?
Last time YouTube noticed an uptick in mine was actually Christmas Day, December 25th. Since then, it's been flat.
What?
Yeah, I'm not good looking, Sam.
Drew,
that's what this.
Drew, just
You're
for
a beautiful
you,
person. You're just as beautiful. Don't let anybody tell you differently.
you're special.
I'm not. It's just
snowflake.
the numbers speak for themselves.
Listen, but if we're to flip the coin once again, one of us is significantly more committed and successful on the EV side of things, and is exponentially kicking my butt on the EV, and rightfully so, because actually
Sam,
has a
I was
commitment to
copying
his
you.
audience, and I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did, because I don't care.
You
enough.
started the whole EV thing separate channel before I did.
yeah.
Nick actually showed it to me.
I know. I was
The
like,
stat-
Volted.
Nick was like, Sam has an EV
Sam,
channel.
This
I was like,
got recommended to me. Like maybe you had like 100 and something subs on Volted, and
Oh my God.
and it was in my it was in my recommendations, and I was like, I clicked on it, and I was like, wait a minute, that's Sam. What's going on? And I was very confused.
Yeah, this is like one of those clickbait ads. It's like what the media at Drew won't tell you is that I don't even want to look at the numbers for Drew's EV channel because he gets something called views and subscribers, and I've been between 3.8 and 4,000 subscribers for about a year now. And people don't respond.
Well, I know it's not your primary focus.
People
It'd be
respond
different
really
if you
well.
were posting daily with it. But
Yeah. But that's how you grow a channel, and you're doing really good. So good job.
Well, I mean, thank you. EV's my new baby. EV's like
it's
the new
amazing.
kid on the block. I love what EV's doing. Tech is like, well, I guess you're still there.
Yeah.
He's on
But
life support.
I think Tech's like, if it does well, it does well. But at this point, it's just kind of
Has
no one's
terminal
interested
cancer.
anymore. But but yeah, I think I think you should do more videos with your car itself. I think people would like that a lot more
Sam,
than
you
because
should
that's
put
something
your car
I can't
in
do.
more thumbnails.
Should I just put like my Tesla? But guys,
AirPods 3 leaks. Tesla in the thumbnail.
Can you charge your car where your new place is?
yes, they
Nice.
have.
Good.
They have a standard plug.
Good.
They're really annoying here. They only let you charge
Oh.
for 4 hours, and then they charge you $10 an hour.
Whoa.
Jeez.
So I have to unplug
Wow.
for 2 seconds and then rescan my. It's through ChargePoint, which is the classic thing that real estate people. Oh, ChargePoint. Let's put a ChargePoint. We've heard about it. So I was like, anybody that doesn't know about EVs is like, let's put a paywall in front of this. They should just be one Tesla charger and one standard EV for free. My college had just 2 standard free chargers. And so that's annoying, and it's only 30 amps, so it's just enough. I contact my building, and I'm like, hey, is there any way you could like remove the 4-hour time limit, because no possible EV in the world can charge in 4 hours at
On
30 amps.
amps.
So she goes,
Yeah.
oh no, you don't understand. Honey, she goes, there's superchargers. We have superchargers in the building. I went, oh really? You guys were the first company that privately could put a supercharger in? Really? Tell me more, because I'd also like one in my living room. And it's like, do they just they don't it's just like real estate people that are like, oh, 4 hours sounds good. Yeah, let's do 4 hours. That sounds nice.
That's long
it's
enough.
like you don't understand the science behind it. Like you're defying physics right now with
Right.
the way electric infrastructure. If you had a supercharger, that's fine. Do 4 hours. Do an hour cap. If you have a supercharger, that's fine.
Sure.
A Tesla supercharger,
Right.
not just something some lady calls a supercharger.
I know.
Yeah. I'm glad you can charge from there though.
Yeah,
that's,
I'm
that's
very
important.
lucky. It is nice. The amount of times though where I've forgotten to be plugged in, that like it's been like I think I've paid them $40 and just my car's just
Wow.
sitting there. Because they
That's
charge
too
you,
bad.
it's free for 4 hours and then $10 an hour after, but they also charge you for the electric. But the electric is 17 cents a kilowatt.
Ooh,
So that's
that's
great.
nice.
Like to fill up my car, $6, $7.
Wow.
So that I cannot complain for the pricing of the
Mm-hmm.
electric. It's very good.
I forgot. I've probably asked you this already. Did you buy full self-driving?
Yes.
Okay. See that you could have some really juicy content soon if you get on the beta. If you get those,
Do people care? Yeah, they do. Of course they care.
Dude,
I think they
those
care.
videos are
I've seen
going
some channels.
so well. Oh my gosh, Dirty Tesla.
There was a few channels I surpassed with EV just on covering the news, but then as soon as those other guys got the beta, they shot right past
Really?
me overnight. They
It's
did
that,
great.
wow, so it's that.
Well, it's right now it's very limited. There's only
Sure.
like 1,000 people that have it, and they're expanding it right now, but it's still like the number of people who have it and show how it works where they are and stuff. I think that could potentially do very, very well. So
Interesting.
I like the reason is because that's something I can't replicate. I'm like, you should do stuff that isn't just us trying to post the same story at the who can post it soonest. It's like, hey, FSD beta is here.
Yeah.
Drew can't make this video. That's what you can do with Volted. I love
God.
that name, by the way.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm jealous of that.
Do you want-
Sometimes
do you
just
want the
take less
channel?
of everything.
I'll sell you the channel for like $1,000. Like I don't even think it's
Not
worth
the channel,
that.
but maybe the car. I'll take the car.
Dude,
$1,000.
Drew, I want you to know I have been. I texted you. You asked me because we had talked about this on.
What did I ask?
We remember you were like, "Hey, did you get the S to the X refresh?" Because I told you that I was really close
Oh,
to getting
that's
the S to
right.
the X.
You made a video about it,
And I did
You
make
said
it.
you
That
were
was my last video.
You were tempted to make you were tempted to buy the Model X,
Yeah.
or something like that.
And it was basically I either move to a nice place, or because I'm renting right now,
Yeah.
or I buy the new car. And I went, of course, with the smart thing, which was like a nice place to film
The
videos
car.
and have it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It was
that was
like,
the responsible thing to do.
keep living with my parents, who are great, and I love, or like it's time to kind of grow up and just get through the like living alone and like
Oh, yeah.
adjusting. And
We all
being
love our
alone.
parents. It's
Yes.
just sometimes they got to get
Just
the heck
time-
away
yeah,
from
it's
them.
just time to move. It's time to be independent. So I decided to do that, and I moved. But like, this month with like the way things have gone on YouTube and like money wise, I'm like, man, I would definitely be cutting it close if I had like an expensive car payment on top of
Sure.
everything else. Like, because that's like something that a lot of people do that is like never good, is like, I don't know, just to like flex or to like make a statement, they'll like buy a bunch of stuff or like move somewhere crazy, and it's like, oh, my savings account has $1,000 in it. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Why do you only have that much money for what you're outputting 7x that a month? Like, why do you not have money? You know, so it's like you always got to do it.
I was like that for a while.
Yeah, and
that was me.
You just got to, you know, it takes sometimes it's hard to learn, and it's a weird thing to learn when you start making money and you've never had it, because like everybody, I blew a bunch of money when you start making money on YouTube, and you're like, whoa.
I think it's common for YouTubers because it always shows up
creeps
very
up.
quick.
Yeah.
And when it creeps up, you feel like you're invincible.
Yeah.
You're like, oh man, we're gonna grow by this much every week,
Yeah.
every
And
month
then
it's gonna
January
be more.
happens.
Yep. Yeah.
And then you get hit with reality. You're like, oh, I might not always get that much every month. So it takes usually YouTubers a few years to figure out how to be smarter about it.
But Drew, I've been stuck, and Nick, maybe you can help me with this too. I know you guys are both passionate about Tesla. I look at the X, and I say, man, 90 starting is a lot.
Oh yeah.
That is a
Holy crap.
lot of money. That's just for not even the performance. Like, that is for the base.
No,
I'm
I
like,
wouldn't get the performance.
No.
and it's also less range, which I don't agree with. But yeah. I'm like,
the Plaid is
man.
120,000.
Talk about price per mile per hour. Now Drew, you talk about that. I have been like kicking around I'm like, do I buy the Plaid just to race against Lamborghini, everything else?
No.
And for like
You can beat a Lambo with the long range.
Model 3, yeah.
You can beat a Model Y can beat a Lambo in some tests. I'm just saying, if you I don't know why I'm telling you this, but if you wanted to flex with the Tesla, I think either long range S or long range X would be plenty.
No, I just love the way the X looks. I love the doors. It's got that like
I love those
influencer type vibe to it, and I'm just like, oh, I hate that appeals to me. But I
never asked you about the yoke and the gear stocks. Does that bother you?
If it's good, no. I'm still concerned though. But
have you tried driving without touching the top?
No.
That's what I've done ever since they unveiled it.
I don't think I'm gonna like. You're right. It's a weird call.
That can be your excuse to not get it then.
Yeah.
Well, you know
I'm
what's
also like Cybertruck. That's my dilemma.
exactly.
S or
Thank
X or
you.
Cybertruck.
I was gonna say, you know what's better than a Model S or a Model X? A $40,000 Cybertruck, baby! Woo!
How is it so like? I will say I would want to get the highest end Cybertruck if I did.
You'd get the tri-motor?
because it's only like 75 for 500 miles of range.
Yep.
70.
I'm saying only. Yeah, I'm saying only. But like
Compared
for
to
that
the
much
S and the
range,
X.
that does not exist.
I know.
Right,
But
like-
with AirPods Max on, it's only 70,000. That's only
But
that's only 140 AirPods Maxes.
guys, I've been thinking about putting in my order for the Cybertruck.
Oh.
You haven't reserved one?
No.
Oh, really?
Should I
Oh.
People get
okay.
after me for not reserving one.
Wow.
I don't even think I'd get it, but
Well, do you want one of my 3 reservations?
Wait, you
Do you
have
like-
multiple?
Yes.
oh yeah, he reserved all of them.
I mean, is that possible? Can we share?
No, I don't think so. But if
Not really.
if it comes up and you want to buy it, I'd be more than happy to process the order for you.
Yeah, I'll just give you my credit card number, social security. I'll wire
You
the
can't-
like down payment.
Yeah.
We did actually look into this off,
Yeah.
no joke. We can't transfer reservations,
Okay.
unfortunately, but if you really, really trusted Nick with your heart and soul,
Uh-huh.
you would basically
As
have
one
to
should.
transfer him the money,
Yeah.
and then he would buy it and then give it to you, and he could only basically give you the truck after he took delivery.
Yeah.
You can't like reserve it and then transfer the reservation
No.
to somebody else. That's not a thing. But after delivery,
But I
you
have
can
one of the
transfer
first
ownership of the
5,000
vehicle.
Cybertruck reservations for the tri-motor. So
Yeah, he ordered it like instant. So,
Nick, how do
do you
I
like the
transfer-
Cybertruck?
Dude, the more I
Did you
look,
like the
okay,
design?
I sound like such an LA like just like I don't know, person who's just like trends and but like I will say I would never go back to driving a gas vehicle full time. I do look at the G-Wagon and I'm like, the G-Wagon is kind of cool. Like just a big bulky SUV. It's like a tank. And the more I look at the Cybertruck, the more I am unironically like, this car looks like the future. Like, this looks so cool. I've always loved the design. My dilemma is, I owned an SUV at one point. I liked it, but it wasn't sporty. It was just like a Toyota Highlander. I really like the sportiness of this Model 3 that I've got. Just the dual, the middle teal, the dual range.
Did you pay for the acceleration boost?
No. I was
Smart.
for a while. I was going to treat myself, but
I wouldn't recommend it.
I decided I was going to not put any more money into this car. Like, I had to get the tires replaced yesterday, but like, I'm doing the bare minimum, but I'm not putting any more money. I was going to get it wrapped or something. I'm not. I'm waiting for the next Tesla to go all out. And
gotcha. Smart.
I'm worried size-wise if I would like I've never had a pickup in my life. I've never driven something. Nobody in my family, mom and dad, have ever had something bigger than like a minivan, and I hated driving the minivan. So it's like,
size doesn't matter.
Size is concerned.
Size doesn't matter.
Nick said it here. Provably
Nick said it here.
True, if it's on the Telecom Tech podcast.
It has to be.
So,
well, now we're on
100%
EV.
track
I
record.
Yeah, you guys have kind of convinced me that I should put in my order for the Tri-Motor Cyber.
So there's
At this point, I don't
lot
think
of
it makes a
research.
huge
yeah,
difference,
I wouldn't
but-
do it at this point. I did a lot of research.
You could. I just
Yeah.
mean they won't deliver Cybertrucks in order of who
Yeah,
reserved them first at this point.
Wait, what?
it's all on
Is
where
this
you
some-
are.
Well, what happened with the Model Y was people who ordered one like 3 months before it came out were getting it, and people who order it on day one when they unveiled it weren't getting it, because when they first come out of the factory, they just want to be able to count as many deliveries as possible. So they just deliver to whoever's closest. That's why there were a bunch of Model Ys delivered to Fremont first, not even though there were people who reserved it like the night it was unveiled on the East Coast. They're still waiting. They're waiting for their first shipment. So we're pretty sure that the Cybertruck will be the same thing.
closer
of just
you are
like,
to Austin.
if you order one,
Yeah. I mean, St. Louis is like, what, 13 hours?
Yeah.
Austin. I also
You're
just
not
want to go
that
to
far.
Austin. I've never been to Austin, but I've always wanted to go.
Road trip.
Random
Elon said
thought.
they would be open to letting people pick it up at the factory.
Yeah,
So,
I'd be down for that.
Oh, yeah, on a Rogan.
could be cool.
I just heard that. I'm like halfway through the latest Rogan cast.
oh, nice.
It's been really interesting. It's just always interesting to hear Elon talk, even though I feel like I disagree with a lot of him as a person. But
Sure.
he is a smart guy,
Yeah.
you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you guys have talked to me. I think I'm going to put
It
in
is
an order for
cheaper.
a Cybertruck.
Do it. Do it now.
You should make a video about it. You could milk that.
You can be like
Why I
Marquez
ordered
and
the
make a
Cybertruck.
popular video that pays for the Cybertruck.
Honestly, Drew,
I came close to ordering one just so I could make a video about it, but I didn't.
I'm gonna honestly. You've heard it here first on the Telecom Tech podcast. Once again, a lot of exclusives today. I think I'm gonna make a Volted video today to push me from 3.99 to 4,000 subscribers, and I think I'm gonna talk about why I ordered the Cybertruck.
Do it.
That's amazing.
All right.
I think Cybertruck has put channels on the map. I've noticed there's
That
all
is
kinds of channels
crazy.
that got popular because of how amazing the
Demos of EV.
Cybertruck is. Yeah, that's the whole channel was born because of the
That
Cybertruck.
video, dude. That video popped off on Telecom Tech. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's the one. After that, it was all downhill.
No,
But
Drew, I love you, man, and you're great. I love that you
Love you
make
too.
tech videos. You're one of the best people that makes this community feel like a community. Nick as well.
Oh, thanks,
Just
man.
the Telecom network is just such a refreshing piece of like media to like look at. It's just usually very wholesome, very well done.
Thank you.
And I really like community is something that it makes or breaks like a fan base, and I feel like you guys have contributed to that so exponentially with what you guys have done with the network, and it just makes it a fun place to be. And I know there are going to be good things coming for you. You just got to keep it up.
Thank you, Sam.
working
Thank
on
you.
it. I can't wait to see
I
what
love your
comes next.
videos too.
Thank you.
They're incredible.
I really love Volted.
The amount
I don't know what
and
this-
Apple Track.
Yeah, Apple Track too. I love the Volted channel. I could care less about this iUpdate channel or something. So
Yeah.
put all your
I
time
think
in
my
it.
my little side project.
All right.
You're awesome.
Yeah. Thank you guys. You as well.
I think we've burned Nick enough today.
Yeah, well, I still have 2 more shows to do today. Thank you so much for joining the Telecom EV podcast, as this is
Yeah.
what it's been for the past hour.
This is kind of what old tech podcasts used to be. It was
Yeah.
like
Tech up front.
the first hour of tech and then the second hour of EV.
Oof, those were long
Sounds
shows.
good. Take care, all. Have a good week.
Bye.
Good
Bye-bye.
talking to you guys. Bye bye.